Today, history will be made. Never before have two players with 500 home runs played on the same ball club. Sammy Sosa joins the Orioles after 16 illustrious seasons in Chicago, anticipating hitting his 600th home run in an Orioles uniform. Rafael Palmeiro owns one of the sweetest swings in baseball. His 551 home runs is 10th on the all-time list, and he's on pace to reach 3,000 hits this season. It's Sosa, it's Palmeiro, leading the Orioles on opening day. It is an absolutely glorious day for baseball here at Oriole Park. 2005, the season opener, as the Orioles welcome in from the AL West, the Oakland Athletics. And hi again, everyone. Jim Hunter with Buck Martinez and Jim Plummer. Pleasant afternoon as the Orioles get set to kick off the 2005 season. And Buck, there's a lot of anticipation about this ball club, the lineup in particular. And when you look at Sammy Sosa and Rafael Palmeiro in the same lineup, you're talking about two milestone seasons in the making.
Absolutely, Jim. It's a very exciting summer ahead for the Oriole fans when you consider Sammy Sosa has been added to an already potent lineup. Sosa, with 574 career home runs, will join the 600 home run club this summer. He was a former NL MVP, six-time All-Star, and a potent bat to plug into a potent lineup. Rafael Palmeiro will become one of just 4 major leaguers with 3,000 hits and 500 career home runs when he crosses that 3,000 hit plateau. Palmeiro returns to this lineup to give them balanced experience, and this could be one of the most feared offenses in all of baseball.
Now, the Orioles are very anxious for the season to begin because many feel that this team has the makings to contend for a playoff spot. And Jim Palmer, of course, that means the pitching will have to come through. Rodrigo Lopez is on the mound today. It's his second opening day start. You made 6 opening day starts in your career. It's a tremendous honor.
It really is. And, of course, if you're Rodrigo Lopez, you want to leave off where you left off last September. He went 4-0. Ray Miller came about the last 90 games. You got him to use his changeup. I mean, he dominated the Yankees. Actually beat them twice in the month of September. Also beat the Red Sox, arguably the best hitting team of all of baseball. So again, a good spring. He's healthy, and not only did he have a great September, the ball club won 18 out of their last 28 games. So a situation where you get them off on the right start. As Ray Miller, the pitching coach for the Orioles, said, "Get me 8 runs and we'll take our chances." We might have an opportunity to see that this afternoon.
Well, it all begins today. It's opening day 2005. It is a perfect day at Oriole Park for baseball. The opening day ceremonies are complete, and now it's time for baseball. Stay with us. We're coming back. Lineups and first pitch are next.
Introducing Ortho Weed Be Gone Max. So revolutionary, it targets and kills the toughest weeds without harming your lawn. Weed Be Gone Max sprayed here. Ordinary weed killer here. Only Weed Be Gone Max has a foaming action and weed targeting formula for total root kill. So it killed the weeds, but not the grass. The ordinary weed killer didn't target anything, so it killed everything. New Ortho Weed Be Gone Max. Kills weeds, not lawns. Guaranteed.
Stars on the field, stars on the screen. Comcast Digital Cable and Comcast Sportsnet bring them all to you. Call Comcast now and get 90 days of digital with Stars and Stars on Demand free. Plus, you'll also receive 4 free tickets to an O's game. With Stars on Demand, you can choose from over 100 movies a month with new titles added every week. Get 90 days of digital with Stars and Stars on Demand free. Plus, 4 free Orioles tickets. Call now.
For our anniversary, we took a Caribbean cruise, and one day I accidentally ate something with shellfish. I have an allergy and had to be rushed to the hospital. We called Care First, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they assured us that I would be covered even though we were so far away from home. They even called the hospital to make sure that everything was taken care of. Thanks to Care First, Blue Cross Blue Shield, I got the care I needed when I needed it.
The benefits of blue.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Cobalt Coupe and Sedan. with more standard horsepower than Civic or Corolla. And our 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. 2 great cars, starting at $14,190. Cobalt, the new commotion in the Chevy family. See your Baltimore area Chevy dealer today.
Orioles baseball on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network is brought to you in part by Coca-Cola, make it real, by Aflac, ask about it at work, and by Southwest Airlines. Non-stop service to over 59 destinations all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. Well, the fans on Utah Street here at Oriole Park. Sammy Sosa, for the first time as an Oriole, sprinting out to right field. It's his new house, and he is anxious to get it going. Oh, is he in a good mood today, getting ready for the season opener. Athletics in town to open up the 2005 season. Let's take a look at the Athletics starting lineup for today. Oakland, a very good ball club. Last year, 91 wins on the year. Mark Kotsay leads it off in center. Kendall and Chavez to follow. Durazo, Hatterberg, and Burns in the middle. Crosby, last year's Rookie of the Year, at shortstop 7th. Nick Swisher and Mark Ellis to round it up. And on the mound today, Jim, for the Athletics, a pitcher who simply enjoys pitching against the Orioles, but for the Orioles, a pitcher who has had a lot of success, and he's making his second opening day start.
Well, you're right, and he likes the weather. A couple of years ago, after winning 15 games, he pitched against Cleveland. It was snowing, and only gave up a couple of runs, but much nicer weather. The Orioles up to Philadelphia yesterday. So Rodrigo trying to really just take a page out of what he did last year, which is pitch extremely well. He's got 2 kind of fastball, 2-seamer, 4-seamer, grit slider, and I really think the changeup has made the difference, at least the second half of last season.
Defensively behind Rodrigo in center field, Louis Matos is anxious to recapture his form of 2 years ago when he was healthy, played very well in the field defensively. Brian Roberts and Miguel Tejada much more comfortable after a full season under their belt a year ago. Melvin Moore made a dramatic adjustment at third base. He is now as good a third baseman as there is in the league, in my mind.
Well, Sammy Sosa in right field, checking out his new surroundings, and here's how Sammy greeted the Oriole fans as he took the field, and they'll get used to this. One thing about Sammy Sosa, guys, he has a lot of fun on the baseball field, and he is happy to be a member of the Orioles. So here is Mark Kotsay leading off in center field, and the opening day first pitch is fouled back, and we're underway at Camden Yards. Kotsay now in his second season with the Athletics. Last year had a very good year. 190 base hits, batted .314. One of the more underrated players in the game, and he does a very good job of the outfield for the Athletics. This Oakland lineup today is left-handed heavy. High and away, and it's a ball on a strike. That's Jason Kendall on deck, the new catcher for the Athletics. Finally out of Pittsburgh. Good fastball there, and it's 1-2. Jim, in spring training, we saw Rodrigo really working on the changeup, but the other aspect that we saw with Rodrigo, you know, he likes to pitch inside because that 2-seamer comes back over the plate, but down and away, he also tried very, very hard during the spring to perfect that part of the strike zone.
And there's what you were talking about. Of course, you have to use both sides of the plate. I think a couple of years ago, Buck, when he came up, he won 15 games, but he pitched to one side of the plate, and that was really a way to right-handers and not too often into lefties. And I think he's changed a lot of that.
Fouled back a little late on the swing.
Well, no matter what you're going to do or how hard you throw, you have to work to both sides of the plate, because if you give any major league hitter an opportunity to look on one half of the plate, he's going to wear you out. So Rodrigo has done a good job of pounding hitters inside to the point where they have to make the adjustment. Then the outside becomes that much more effective for him.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was trying to think of an analogy, Buck, and of course, you know, you were a longtime catcher, and I was thinking today it's like you have an underpowered car and you always feel like you're going uphill. When you're pitching well and you have your fastball and your breaking ball and you have that changeup, it almost seems like you're always going downhill, and you can always add a little bit or you can take a little bit off. It doesn't feel like you have to go out and be maxed out at every point when you throw the pitch. And that's what the changeup allows for Rodrigo.
fisted foul, so Katse doing a very good job leading off, forcing Lopez to work for this out.
That's a very good analogy, Jim, because what it does is it makes you understand that you can pitch under the bat speed. And when you see a successful pitcher, it's generally later on in his career when he understands he doesn't have to be 100% effort all the time. And in fact, in pressurized situations, you're better off at about 85% effort.
And again, a little late on the swing and slice foul. So Katse battling and staying alive.
Well, that's what Mark Katse, Billy Beane, the general manager of Oakland, they went to get him because, number one, he can play center field flat out. He makes everybody, the left fielder and the right fielder, better. And, you know, and he hits over 300. Not exceptional power, hit 15 home runs. But again, he's worked the count. This is what, the 7th pitch?
And this one is hooking down the right side and foul again.
This is what this lineup will do. They'll make you throw a lot of pitches. We all have talked about how often they take walks, but they work the count and they can get on base an awful lot. It's not an easy lineup. Ray Miller understands the value of changing speeds and having a finish pitch, but right now his pitcher Rodrigo Lopez is having a tough time finishing off Mark Katse.
Lopez will make his 10th pitch of this game, and the leadoff batter Mark Katse still on the plate. Fans want to strike out to begin the year. And Rodrigo may be unsure about that sign Javi Lopez put down, backs off.
Just trying to come up with something and to get Katse to swing and miss.
And Maka, the skipper, there with the jacket on. Renee Latchman to his left. Skied to left center. Easy play from Matos. And one away. So Katse is finally retired on the 10th pitch of the at-bat and one away here in the first. Here's today's BaltimoreSun.com game notes.
Well, take a look right here, and we talked about Ray Miller came over for the last 90 games, and that's when that ERA went down from about 5.3 runs a game.
Rafael Palmeiro is the active hit leader. He needs 78 more hits for the 3,000 plateau, and Miguel Tejada was the first Oriole to lead the league in RBI.
Yeah, 150 RBI. That's not a bad year.
Incredible. Right? Pretty good first season with your new club, huh?
Here's Jason Kendall making his Athletics debut. Athletics picked him up in a big trade with the Pirates this past off season. He's 30 years old and already in his 10th season. Again, the Matos. And 2 away. So a 10-pitch at bat to get the first hitter and a 2-pitch at bat to get the second.
Well, you saw Kendall choking up. I mean, that's his style. Doesn't hit a lot of home runs, and they got him because, well, they got him because they like the on-base percentage and the lifetime 300 batting average, but they also hope, as you can see right there, and there's your hanging slider that he pops up to center field. Pretty good pitch to hit, Buck.
Yeah, not a bad pitch to hit at all, but you're right. You don't see many hitters anymore choking up that dramatically.
Now 2 down, Eric Chavez up, and the high strike called by Dana DeMuth. 0-1. One of the more dangerous hitters in the American League, Eric Chavez. Look at those numbers from last year, and he was injured for 5 weeks. He is just an incredibly consistent hitter. Still only 27 years old. And a little low, 1-1.
Yeah, it's interesting for a team that they talk about it. They don't draft a lot of high school players because they don't like what they call that kind of risk aversion, where you go get a college guy more mature. But it's worked out for Chavez, who's arguably one of the better third basemen of all of baseball.
Yeah, I think the position players, you get a better chance of developing an outstanding position player if you draft him as a high school player. Derek Jeter, A-Rod, Eric Chavez, all high school players. Guys that get into the system and learn the inside and out of the professional game.
Lopez sharp early on, 2-2 on Chavez. Just missed with the slider. Chavez wouldn't chase.
Well, that's how you have to pitch him, Jim. I mean, Buck and I were talking about guys like Greg Nettles. He wore me out. He was a high ball out over the plate hitter, and Chavez very much like him. Real good high ball hitter. You don't see a lot of lefties who can hit that pitch. but that's not the case with him. So you're going to have to get him out with soft stuff and stay in on him.
Lopez bat. Roberts plays the hop, knocks it down, gets it. So Rodrigo Lopez has a 3-up, 3-down first inning to get 2005 underway. A's foul the score. Here come the Birds at Camden Yards.
Want to get away? Now you can. Just go to southwest.com for our $39 internet specials from BWI Airport to the Northeast. So make the better choice. Southwest Airlines. Purchased by April 21st.
You are now free to move about the country.
People all over are waking up to a new kind of performance.
Relax. Back here at Oriole Park, here come the Birds. In the bottom of the first, let's take a look at the Orioles Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the season opener, and the lineup that we all expected Lee Mazzilli would send out there today for this season opener. Today the Orioles playing their 52nd opener on the year. Brian Roberts, Melvin Mora, and Miguel Tejada, the top three. There's the skipper. Sammy Sosa batting cleanup today. Rafael Palmeiro at first base batting fifth. Javi Lopez catching batting sixth. Jay Gibbons DHing today in the lineup batting seventh. Matos batting eighth in center field, and Larry Bigby in left field batting ninth. And on the mound, guys, Jim Barry Zito, now the ace of this staff with the departures of Mulder and Hudson.
Yeah, Mulder goes to St. Louis. Tim Hudson, he goes to Atlanta. They get a lot of young players for him, but Barry Zito, a veteran at age 26, big sky curveball, two-seam fastball, also a changeup. He pitches up in the strike zone more than most pitchers, and a lot of hitters tell you it's so difficult because the fastball does look like the curveball.
Yeah, and he has to be better with his curveball if he's going to be effective, and his motive this spring was to pitch inside a little bit more, command that inside corner, and then get you to hit the soft stuff away, control the at bat. Defensively, we mentioned Kotsay's ability in center field. Mark Ellis returns after missing the entire season last year with a separated shoulder. Jason Kendall, three-time All-Star behind the plate. He is the all-time leader in games caught for the Pittsburgh Pirate franchise.
Well, Brian Roberts takes down and in 1-0, and like Kotsay, who led off for the Athletics with a 10-pitch at bat, Brian Roberts very adept at making a pitcher work to get him out. Fouls this one back, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, the Crow, Terry Crowley, the Oriole hitting instructor, said he was on the top of his game yesterday in Philadelphia. And of course, fouled a ball off his shin the last couple of days down in Florida, but what a marvelous year he had last year. First full year where he had a chance to show everybody what he could do. 50 doubles, an all-time record for switch hitters. Broke Cal Ripken's record of what, 47 doubles.
Remarkable season for a guy at the top of the order to have that kind of impact.
And you talk to Brian or you talk to Lee Mazzilli, the manager, Buck, and they'll tell you what do you want from your leadoff guy? You want a guy that gets on base and scores a lot of runs. And he was able to do that last year, over 100 runs scored.
Well, look at Brian Roberts' situation. He can look on deck and see a 340 hitter behind him in Melvin Mora. Then you got a 150 RBI guy behind Mora in Tejada. Then you've got back-to-back 500 career home run hitters. Why wouldn't you want to get on base, whatever it took?
And towards the middle, but it hangs up there for Ellis. They broke his bat, and that slowed it down. And one away here in the first.
Yeah, Buck, a ball that, again, opening day, if you look at the lineup for the Orioles, but a ball that didn't look like Ellis with some white shirts. Yesterday, you wouldn't be wearing white shirts. It was pouring and about 45 degrees, but lovely weather.
So here's Melvin Mora now batting second. There was some talk really throughout spring training that Melvin would stay in the number 3 spot he occupied for most of the second half of last year. And a hard smash to third, but Chavez plays the hop and 2 men down. But Lee Mazzilli really didn't find another hitter that he was comfortable with inserting in the number 2 hole, so he left Melvin Moore there.
Yeah, I think he was toying with the idea, but he loves to get Tejada to the plate. As you look at Eric Chavez, 4-time Gold Glover, making an easy play of that one hopper as it skips off the grass. But it's always a good situation to get your best hitter to the plate in the first inning, and I think Melvin Moore is perfectly suited to hit second.
If I was pitching against the Orioles, I want Moore to bat ninth. I don't want to see him any more than I have to.
And here is Miguel Tejada. You see his numbers from last year. Major League leading 150 RBIs. Ball 1.
If you're wondering, as we look at Sammy Sosa waiting on deck, he's 574 lifetime home runs. Barry Zito has pitched very, very well against the Orioles. 5 and 2 lifetime, but what, only 2 earned runs in 25+ innings here at Camden Yards.
In a place that's supposed to be difficult to pitch in. He's pitched very well. And the Orioles, they've had a tough time with this Oakland club last year. They were swept in 7 games.
Good eye by Miguel. He lays off and the count to 2-1.
Oh, Buck, I asked Terry Crowley, the hitting instructor, as you look at again those numbers we talked about, 11 more than David Ortiz of the Red Sox. I said, how do you pitch, and what's your approach against a guy like Zito?
Saw it off the bat. Chavez hoping for the play, but he'll run out of room.
And basically what he said was he tried to get him to bring the fastball down and hope that by doing that you don't get him in a situation where he can throw a lot of curveballs. He uses a changeup a lot more. But you've made a point already. First 2 hitters, Moore and Roberts, been jammed already, and right there, Miguel Tejada had to go back for another bat.
Yeah, that's what Zito was trying to establish this spring, that he could pitch inside effectively again, and it appears as though already in this game he's established that inside corner.
Good eye, ball 3. So 2 of the hitters in this inning have gone to 3 and 2.
Well, you talk about the high ball. It is so inviting because you can see it so well. But it's a difficult pitch from Barry Zito to get on top of and hit hard.
And he's got that little extra giddy up on it. And there's a changeup that misses for ball 4.
Now the ovation you hear not only is for the walk, the ovation is because of Sosa coming to bat in the first inning with a man on. He is a superstar gentleman, a flair for the dramatic. This would be a nice spot for home run number 1 as an Oriole. And what do you know? He took a pitch.
Well, Terry Crowley will tell you there is nobody more aggressive in the Oriole lineup than Sammy Sosa, and I think that's probably how he got to 574 home runs. He's not up there to hit little soft singles to right field.
Good eye, ball 2.
Well, it's good patience to lay off both of those pitches, because as a hitter, when he's pumped up, he tries to hit the inside pitch, but to show the discipline to lay off that inside fastball is a good sign.
There you see the targets behind Eric Burns in left field. Borderline pitch. Dana DeMute says strike 1.
Yeah, I think that'll have a lot to do how effective obviously you can be pitching in if they call that pitch. That ball looked a little bit off the plate, but Zito gets the strike from home plate umpire Dana DeMute.
Line, base hit. Burns over to cut it off. Sosa thinks about 2. Tejada scampers to third. Base hit in his first at bat in his new house.
Jim, that was a pretty good at bat. He forced Zito back out over the plate where he wanted him. He laid off the pitches inside and then got Zito to throw a changeup out over the plate, and Sosa hammers it into the gap in left field. Very, very good discipline in that at bat. He's got to wait for pitchers to be out over the plate before he's going to be effective, and Tejada shows his wheels and enthusiasm, and he goes first to third on the base hit.
Sammy Sosa gets a base hit in his Oriole debut, and now Palmeiro with a chance to get the Birds on top. 1-1.
Well, I think that speaks volumes for this lineup. You pitch around Tejada, 3-2 changeup, maybe something you wouldn't do, but then all of a sudden there's Sammy Sosa.
And Sosa's going to have to prove to the league that he can hit it.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to make him do that.
Yeah.
The Oriole patience in this inning has been very obvious. Ryan Roberts very adept at taking pitches. Tejada was patient. Sosa patient. Palmeiro lays off a tight pitch there. Palmeiro is a very good beginning of the year hitter. Good eye again, ball 2.
This is what we were talking about. Again, of course, you can, as a hitting instructor, you can tell. And I think the one thing Terry Crowley says about working with this lineup, in most cases, they have a lot of experience. I mean, we got 551 home runs with Palmeiro. Sosa's got 574. Tejada, you know, he's hit, what, 30 home runs or more 4 times.
Loop to center field. Katse has a play. And he'll put it away for the out. So the Birds threaten, cannot score as they strand 2. Sammy Sosa, base hit in his Oriole debut, will head to the second. Middle of the order coming up for the Athletics.
I just got Verizon DSL service instead of cable, and I'm glad I got it.
It's $29.95 a month for Verizon.
I mean, what is that? It's $1 a day.
They doubled the speed, and the price stayed the same.
Verizon DSL is so fast, it's like lightning.
The DSL thing has got me flying.
Verizon Online DSL is twice as fast as before, and it includes MSN Premium, something you don't get with Comcast.
Now you get pop-up blockers,
firewall, an antivirus thing,
and parental controls.
Parental controls, that's huge.
It's still just $29.95 a month. Comcast is $42.95 a month. That's $13 more a month than Verizon.
I'm loving it. I'm saving a ton of money.
They give me all this stuff, and it's inexpensive. $29.95 per month.
Plus, when you call 1-800-931-2375 now, you'll get a wireless router and modem in one, so everyone can be online at home at the same time.
I had a lot of choices.
But I want Verizon DSL.
So call 1-800-931-2375 today.
It's definitely a no-brainer.
2 Wendy's mozzarella chicken supremes. Give me one. I helped you move in here. In college, I was your only friend. I let you take my girlfriend to prom. When Mom and Dad could only send one of us to camp, I let you go. When I was 4, I found you in a basket in the woods and convinced my parents to raise you. Come on!
Now we're even.
Totally even.
The mozzarella chicken and cheeseburger supremes. 2 slices of mozzarella and a creamy Parmesan sauce. Yep, it's that good.
Get some lineup.
Well, back at Oriole Park as we go to the second. Orioles and Athletics are scoreless. Don't forget, come on out here Wednesday as the Orioles take on the Athletics. That'll be opening night, 7:05 p.m. And get here early as the first 15,000 fans 18 and over will receive a Sammy Sosa t-shirt. Help welcome Sammy to his new house and meet the rest of the 2005 Orioles here at Camden Yards. That's opening night. Tickets available. Call the O's 888-848-BIRD or log on to Orioles.com. And there is Sammy batting 1,000 as an Oriole. Rubio Garrazzo leads off, and Lopez misses low 1-0. It's numbers from last year.
You don't want to see them if you're an Oriole pitcher. As he hit the Orioles so well last year, he hit .444 with 4 home runs and 11 RBIs. And you know, it's amazing what a year, Bucky, you know, from year in and year out, when you were catching one time a guy didn't hit you very well. That's what happened in 2003. That was not the case last year.
Yeah, time to go back and have another meeting.
Well, he is a perfect Billy Bean kind of a player as Lopez backdoors him to get ahead 1-2 because he has a very good batting eye, doesn't mind taking a walk, and then if he gets a pitch he can handle, he can hit it out.
Oh, he's real strong. I mean, his problems when he was with Arizona was staying healthy. Been able to do that the last 2 seasons.
Lopez took too long. Now his 3rd season with the Athletics, 7th in the big leagues, and he began playing in his native Mexico in the Mexican League, and then his contract was purchased by Arizona. Loop towards the middle. Tejada's there, and 1 away. Well, that was a fist job out to the center of the diamond.
Well, yeah, that's what you can do when you get ahead in the count. You can make your pitches, and you take a big, strong guy. You look at the numbers, 444 with 4 home runs. They were not up and in. They were out over the plate last year, and now 1-2, perfect pitch. And you get the perfect out, little looper to the shortstop.
There's such a distinct advantage pitching ahead because the hitter then has to expand his strike zone, and the pitcher dictates the at-bat once he gets ahead.
Scott Hatteberg takes strike one. The Athletics first baseman. See his numbers from a year ago, the 15 home runs, not the home run power that most teams get out of their first baseman, especially in the American League, but he was the player they brought in when Jason Giambi left and went to New York. Good contact.
He talked about Moneyball, and he learned. I mean, I guess I still remember reading that book, and they called him in the middle of the winter. His wife went down and started hitting him fungals on the school playground, playing first base because he was a catcher when he came up with the Red Sox that had all kinds of arm problems.
He's done a nice job playing first base, but it'll be interesting to see how strong Moneyball is without Hudson and Alden.
Oh, does that matter? 2 horses. Slaps it the other way for a base hit. So Hatteberg just protecting the outside corner. Here comes the Athletics first base run. Hatteberg, an interesting player because, Jim, you mentioned as a younger player with the Red Sox, he caught 369 games for Boston, never played first base. Since he's been in Oakland, he has played 367 games at first base and has never caught. So they brought him in for one role, and he was able to learn that position effectively enough to make it a full-time job.
Yeah, he's done a good job at first base, but, you know, I don't know if it was because of his hitting or the fact that he had trouble throwing that prompted the move.
And here is Eric Burns, whose name was very, very often heard during spring training because there was some thought, especially early on in spring training, that the Athletics might move Burns if they could get a package going back. But either they did not get the package that Billy Beane thought was suitable, or they changed their minds because here he is on opening day, still an Oakland Athletic. All on a strike.
He had a marvelous spring, led the team with 6 home runs, 18 RBIs, and it's interesting. Buck, you and I are down on the field in the dugouts, and I ran into Eric and I said, "What'd you do this winter?" And he said, "I played winter ball." And I said, "But wait a minute, I could see that a couple of years ago when you weren't a regular player, but last year you played full time." He said, "No, I went down there for about a month and a half." He said, "I came into spring training feeling like I was in May as far as the season was going."
Reached for that one and fouled it off.
You know, I think a lot of guys could be served very well by going to winter ball and get a jump on their season. Especially a guy like Burns, who's just now starting to establish himself in the big leagues. You know, he had a strong season a year ago, hit 283 with 20 home runs. Why wouldn't you continue that? Go ahead and take a month off, get rested up, get strong again, and then go down there and refine your stroke. And you have the flexibility of not worrying about your numbers, just trying to learn things and pick up different things that might help you.
Mora not in time to double him up, 2 men down. Another fisted ball put in play by an Athletics hitter. Melvin tried to get 2, but base running by Hatteberg, very alert, got back.
Yeah, Jim, I think it's one of those days, and it looked like Rodrigo with Javi Lopez sliding in was trying to get in on his fist, and that again tells you what the scouting report has told the Orioles, that Burns, again having his breakthrough year last year, having a chance to play, loves the ball away. And if you have your druthers, if you get ahead, once again, you can pitch him in.
Here's Bobby Crosby, the reigning Rookie of the Year in the American League, and the Athletics are very pleased that he is in the starting lineup today. Last week in Arizona, hit by a pitch, and they were concerned he might have a break, similar to what happened to Melvin Mora.
Yeah, I guess he was showing us the meaty part of his left hand. Actually looked like he had a bruise there, maybe a little abrasion.
Melvin was hit the final game in Florida last Wednesday, and Crosby last Wednesday in Phoenix.
Yeah, you go back a couple of years ago, Melvin got hit on that right hand by Maddox. He was leading the American League in hitting. It affected him for months.
So many things can go wrong when you deal with a hitter's hands. You get hit on those small bones in your hand and wrist, and you can knock you out for a long time. And Bobby Crosby is still not 100%. He says he feels it a little bit more on a check swing, but he is in the lineup. Nobody wants to miss an opening day start.
Fastball went right at him, 1-1, and Rodrigo Lopez is following the battle cry of Ray Miller from spring training. Attack the hitters, attack the strike zone. The walks were dramatically down as a staff in spring training, which is very impressive because especially early on, the pitchers are searching for their command. Here's Rabbit. A little high ball, 2-2-1.
Well, you know, it's interesting when you talk about that. I don't think there's a pitching coach in baseball that tells them, hey, let's walk a lot of guys or whatever. It's just that, you know, what kind of, I don't know, you know, if you think back when you went to school, which teachers were your better teachers? Somehow they got to you. They were either able to say something to you or, you know, put your arm around you or somehow cajole you into doing what they wanted you to do, and sometimes make it think that it's your idea.
And that's why coaches all over are different in how they approach things. And you talk about Leo Mazzoni down in Atlanta, Rick Peterson with the New York Mets. They have the reputation of being two of the finest pitching coaches. They say the same thing, basically. Change speeds. Don't let a hitter sit on one speed and pitch ahead. But they do it in a different manner.
And I think Ray added one more phrase, don't nibble. This is going to be a tough play. And Mora won't have a play. That's an infield hit. Baltimore chop.
And that's the first hit. Crosby 0 for 17 last year. The Orioles really did a number on him. Even though, as you mentioned, did end up with 22 home runs and Rookie of the Year. But good pitch, bad result for Rodrigo. And, of course, Bobby Crosby, he's all happy. He's 1 for 1 in the 2005 season.
Nothing you can do about this. It's chopped right off the plate. Melvin Moore wisely just lets it die on the grass, so no one else can go any further. Hatterberg stops second base, and this is a big year for Bobby Crosby. Second year after 22 home runs. The league is going to pitch him much tougher this year.
Here's Nick Swisher. A lot expected of him this year. Lopez got one by him, 0-1. 24-year-old rookie. You see the numbers last year after he got called up in September. He had a very good year in AAA for the Athletics last year. Dismissed. 29 home runs in AAA for the Athletics, and Oakland allowed Jermaine Dye to leave, and Swisher was given a chance to get that job in right field, and he seized it in spring training. Played at Ohio State. He's out of Parkersburg, West Virginia.
17 home runs in high school and didn't get drafted. He said, I only had 2 college offers. One was Ohio State, where he ended up going, and University of Ohio.
This is hooked foul down the right side, 1-2.
I don't think there's a more excited young player on this field today. I mean, you were talking to him, Buck. He was just looking around, couldn't believe Camden Yards opening day in the big leagues.
Yeah, he walked out to the top step of the dugout and just stared around the stadium as if to say, you know what, this is exactly what I thought it would be like, coming to Camden Yards and playing in my first opening day game.
A natural right-handed hitter, and a scout told him when he was a freshman in high school, you know what, you'll hit more home runs if you become a switch hitter.
A foul near the Oriole dugout. Palmeiro will not have a play, as it's back a few rows. A souvenir on opening day.
Jim Hunter, he said I'd like to find that scout and give him a hug because I'm in the big leagues. An opportunity.
And what a turnaround, Jim. You mentioned he wasn't drafted out of high school, and then he becomes a first-round draft pick by the Athletics in 2002.
Well, he's got the good genes. His dad was a big league catcher.
Popped him up. Tejada, shallow left calls. Oh, look at the wind. And he makes the catch, staying with it. Wow. It got up above the grandstand, and Miguel had to go back to his left and stuck with it and saved a run. He went right, he had a reverse, he went left, and he stayed with it. Athletics Strand 2, Javi Lopez will lead off for the Birds when we come back in the bottom of the second.
No, come on over. I got air hockey.
Bob, we're rolling.
Oh. Hey, Bob here for Quiznos. Have you tried Quiznos mesquite chicken with bacon sub? It's piled high with tender mesquite chicken, crisp, savory bacon, and it all comes toasted the way only Quiznos can. I'm telling you, when my molars grow in, I'm all over this one.
Try Quiznos Mesquite Chicken with Bacon Sub, now specially priced for just $3.99.
Just $3.99.
Quiznos, toasty.
When people hear that we service 80,000 cars a day, all without an appointment, that we have flexible hours, and that our Jiffy Lube Signature Service oil change, which involves over a dozen car maintenance procedures, only takes us minutes to perform, this is how they picture us getting it done. And you know, they're not far off. For oil changes and preventive maintenance, nobody does it like Jiffy Lube.
I got him. I see him. Give me the ball, Pops. Come get it.
I think that's a challenge.
Are you serious? I won't even put my bag down. Oh, come on, man.
Don't let that man shoot you.
I got nothing. We don't got nothing. Your mouth looks dry. Have a Coke.
You know what that is? That's the room time, son.
Now back here at Oriole Park, scoreless game because of this play by Miguel Tejada. He stuck with it and hauled it in for the out.
Well, Buck, what you turned to me looks like Candlestick. Well, Oakland, no bargain either. High sky, exactly the way it is at Camden Yards. There can be some wind, maybe not as severe as on the other side of the bay. But tell you what, both of the guys running two runs might have scored on that play.
Javi Lopez will lead off for the Orioles. And Zito misses 1-0.
So I guess the word is today that there are no such thing as routine pop flies.
Converge on everything.
Popped up. Easy play for Chavez, we think. One away.
Well, you go back to 1989, former Vice President Dan Quayle was actually in, and John Miller said, "Have you ever done play-by-play, Mr. Vice President?" And he said, "No." And he said, "Well, you might as well do it now." So the first ball was a fly ball to Randy Milligan, who had moved from first to left, and the Vice President Quayle said routine fly ball to left field. And of course Milligan almost stumbled and fell down, and I explained to him that there are no such things as routine fly balls to Randy Milligan in left. And the next ball was a pop fly to Cal, and I said you can call that routine. But not today. It wasn't that windy that day.
Well, you saw the flags, and they are swirling around Oriole Park today as Jay Gibbons comes up. Zito misses high. Behind the bullpen, they're blowing out towards left center field, but by the scoreboard, they're blowing out towards right. There's
well,
number 8, Cal Ripken, at the game today.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting ballpark because you stand down at home, right behind home plate where the batting cage is, and it looks like the wind's blowing in, and then you look out at the birds up over the scoreboard. Usually the way the wind, whether their noses point is which way the wind's blowing. And then, of course, people tell you, well, no, that might be true, but then the wind goes off the warehouse and it swirls and it's going around. It's not a typical ballpark where you'd either know it's blowing in or it's blowing out.
There you go. The flag was going one way and the bird the other way.
Well, those birds actually do point right in, supposedly, into the wind. That is if they got a good night's sleep.
Oh, okay. I'll keep my eye on them then.
Well, yeah.
Check their eyes.
See if there's any red in there. Well,
if they were out with Sydney, they don't know which way they're going.
3-2 the count on Gibbons. Again, another patient at bat by an Oriole hitter. Well, he's now pointing out, so he's saying Gibby hit it here.
I'm sure that Jay would love to do that.
And a very patient at bat, ball 4. So Gibbons is on, and the Orioles have a base runner for second consecutive inning, and the second walk allowed by Barry Zito.
Ken Maka, the manager, has seen Barry Zito over the last couple of years pitch to a 25-23 record. 2 years after winning the Cy Young for Oakland. And I asked him about the 11-11 season last year. He said the second half of the season he pitched very well. We just didn't have much of a bullpen to support him, and we didn't score many runs. They were 9th in the league in runs scored. So Zito actually, in his manager's mind, pitched much better than the 11-11 record would indicate.
Yeah, then you talk to Kurt Young, who came over for Rick Peterson the last 2 years, and he did win the Cy Young, which what 23-5 in 2002. He said occasionally he can get a little emotionally fragile, and I think that's true with anybody. Your confidence wanes. But he did say he was going to rededicate himself to really focusing on the job at hand, which is pitching. And of course, I guess when you're now, what, 26, when he's 23, you win a Cy Young Award, 23-5. That's a marvelous year. And I think there's a tendency in this game sometimes to assume things. And I think he's understood that's not the way it works.
Ball and a strike on Matos.
But now here's the value of a veteran catcher too. Jason Kendo getting a chance to work with Zito for the first time in a regular season game. He has missed upstairs several pitches in a row, so Kendo identified something and trying to get him back into a strike zone. Went out to talk to him about leading with his hand a little bit more. When your body leads your arm through the delivery, you have a tendency to stay up in the strike zone.
Yeah, your arm feels like it's back on second base. It's got to get out in front of you.
Old foul past Tom Troublehorn.
Yeah, how many times did you have to tell pitchers over the course of your career, hey, stay back a little bit, or get over the front side a little bit more, keep that chin right to the glove?
Well, you know very well that when you get out there on the mound, you get focused on particular aspects of the game, and you don't necessarily feel everything that a catcher might see.
Left center field and deep. Back on it is Kotze, and it's good! Orioles get the lead.
Well, the room service curveball. Watch this ball hang right in the zone. And you can see Matos, he keeps his weight back. And I'll tell you what, hitting instructor Terry Crowley said nobody on this team, especially the young players, retains what he tries to work with better than Luis. I think that if Luis Matos, and you and I were talking about it, if Lee Mazzilli sees him play when he's healthy, didn't get to do that last year, he's going to see a very good, talented young player.
Bigby bounces it to second base. Mark Ellis plays it to first, and 2 men are down.
Now, I think that's a great point, because Matos was hurt last year and was pressing a bit at the plate. Didn't get off to a very good start, and then had the leg fracture, had to miss the rest of the season, had surgery on his leg. 2 years ago, he played as good as anybody on his team, defensively, offensively, running the bases, and he's a very good player with marvelous instincts. Boy, there is nothing like hitting a home run in your first at bat to get you off and running in a season.
And also further identifies the point, Buck, that you made in the open today, that when you have this balance top to bottom, here Zito gets down to number 8, makes a mistake and is trailing 2-0. Now here it is back to the top again.
Well, you have your core players, and you talked about them, Buck. I mean, you know, Rafael and Sosa, and then you got Tejada with 150 RBIs. Melvin Moore, you know, the highest batting average ever for an Oriole at 340. But what if the young guys, and they were all hitting together in the group today, was Gibbons, Bigby, and Matos, and you know, you're watching those guys hit, and you go, if 2 or maybe 3 of them step it up, what an offense. Roberts
gets into one, but running it down is Burns. He does a little juggle act, but he holds on. That ball was hit hard. So Luis Matos applauding, and he has given the Orioles a lead. 2-run shot.
Lindsay, will you go to opening day with me?
Yes.
Fever Pitch is the hit comedy of the season.
One, please.
Fever Pitch.
We look like morons, didn't we?
Yeah.
Rated PG-13. Friday, only in theaters.
When you book a room on Ramada.com, you'll get our best rate in seconds. Of course, you could search the web endlessly for a lower rate, but just think of all you'd be missing out on. Ramada.com. It's as easy as...
The Baltimore Sun. Who, what, when, where, and why. It delivers light for all and something for everyone. Get yours by calling 1-877-BUY-A-SUN. Don't miss Orioles Bingo this weekend in the Sun.
introducing the all-new Chevy Cobalt Coupe and Sedan with more standard horsepower than Civic or Corolla. And our 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. 2 great cars, starting at $14,190. Cobalt, the new commotion in the Chevy family. See your Baltimore area Chevy dealer today.
Orioles baseball on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. Nonstop service to over 59 destinations all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. We all live for this. Major League Baseball slogan right there on the bases, and the Birds now have a 2-0 lead. There's Mark Ellis taking strike 1. Ellis, the number 9 batter. Kotze and Kendall will follow, and the Birds now on top, courtesy of the Matos 2-run home run. Well, the best pitch in baseball, strike 1. The next best pitch is strike 2. And Rodrigo following that pattern. And Ellis happy to be back in the lineup. Missed all of last year, rehabbing after shoulder surgery. Slowly hit to Mora. 1 down.
Yeah, it's interesting about Mark Ellis. They have a lot of options. Went out and got Matt Ginter, and they also have Mark Scudero, and who played very well against the Orioles last year. Yeah, in fact, talking to Mark, I thought he had shoulder surgery too, but actually he declined to have it. I guess he had read about where other guys had come back from that injury, and you know, everybody's talking about the fact he's probably always going to have to live with that separated shoulder, but somehow he's managed to be able to still play with it.
Yeah, he rehabbed it. There was extensive nerve damage to the point where he couldn't have surgery, so he decided just to rehab it.
And here is Mark Kotze. Skied out to Matos to begin the game, and it was a 10-pitch at bat. And this is ripped into right field for a 1-out single. Sammy Sosa plays it back in, and the Athletics have their 3rd base hit. Well, fans, you can hit a home run when you play the Mega Millions game from the Maryland Lottery. Tomorrow's jackpot is a whopping $86 million. And with 9 ways to win, you'll feel like you just hit a grand slam. So visit your favorite Maryland Lottery retailer today. The Maryland Lottery, let yourself play. $86 million could get you middle of the lineup hitter.
Or you could get the Yankee starting rotation.
Yeah, right.
Or part of it.
$64 million for the Yankees starting rotation.
See the hot dog wrappers blowing around. There was a wind gust. And there's strike 1.
Well, part of that rotation, that $64 million, was pretty impressive last night. Randy Johnson beating the Red Sox.
They got Randy Johnson to pitch big games, and certainly it's only 1 game, but he set the tone for the season, in my mind, for the Yankees beating the Red Sox. Don't you think that Rodrigo Lopez is a perfect Ray Miller type of pitcher, given the way he pounds the strike zone and uses his changeup very effectively, doesn't walk himself into too many bad spots?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think the reason they liked him out of the bullpen, Mike Hargrove used to always talk about it, is that maybe he doesn't hold runners as well as some other pitchers. But right here, you can see him holding the ball a little bit. Not that the A's run very much. Only stole 47 games. That was the last in the American League. Kotze with 8 steals. And Kendall can handle the bat, but and then kind of recoils and falls off. So not a great fielding pitcher, but I think he's made those adjustments, tries to be a little bit more balanced. But again, the changeup, I think he's Ray Miller's type of pitcher because he listens. He wants to get better. Only 29 years old. He has a fastball and a slider. Came up with that, and that's probably get away with that more in the bullpen. But that 3rd pitch, and I think the reason I've tried to talk about it some of the opening was that that there was a game down in Texas, Buck, last year where normally he probably would have been taking a shower in the 3rd inning. He got into the 6th, almost the 7th inning with a no decision, gave up 3 runs, arguably one of the hardest parks to pitch in, and wouldn't have been able to do that 2 years ago. And the changeup makes all the difference for him.
This gives you another dimension, because if you don't have a great fastball or you can't get the slider to break, you can stay in a game by taking the sting out of the bat using that changeup.
So if you're smart enough to embrace that, and then you get the experience to actually experience that type of thing where you don't have great stuff and you somehow get into the 7th inning, and there's that hit and run we were talking about, or run and hit.
Great job by Kendall to foul that off.
Now, the Oakland A's, you talk about how they really disdain the steal. They don't like the bunt much, but with Kendall hitting in the 2 spot and Kotze on base, they can play hit and run this part of the order. And I think they're going to change their approach a little bit. Ken Maka has always been a baseball guy. When he worked his way through the minor leagues with Montreal, he had a lot of great players that were all-around players. It's a different group of players he has now. I mean, they're pretty much one-dimensional. He hasn't been able to do as many things as he did in the past. He can't steal bases in tight situations because you don't have anybody that can run. And they have geared their team to the Moneyball philosophy of get on base with a walk and somebody will hit a home run.
And he got him. So Lopez gets his first strikeout. The 2 men down here in the 3rd inning.
Well, one of those days, very slick, not a lot of humidity. You get the ball and watch this ball just tail away. Perfect pitch, 90 miles per hour. But again, you know, if he's throwing sliders and changeups, 90 looks about 93. And then when you get the ball, and I always felt position of the ball on the plate so important. And there's a perfect example. Strike out a guy that doesn't strike out very much.
There's Aaron Chavez. Got to buy him 0-1.
Boy, that's a good pitch, too. First pitch to a very aggressive hitter. He used the changeup and had Chavez way out in front. Watch how he's out on that front foot, and he swings before the ball gets there, simply because Rodrigo took something off.
Well, Buck, you were talking about sometimes you just show the other team a pitch or so, and it really changes their approach. You were talking about Al Leiter in 1977, Game 7 of the World Series.
Leiter used curveball to start the game off. The Indians saw the entire at bat, noticed the curveball, and that's stuck in their minds. Might not have to throw it again, just put it in their heads.
Chavez let that one go by, so they count to 2-1.
Here's where the changeup becomes effective. When you're behind in the count, your ability to throw it over to an aggressive fastball hitter. Got the fastball by.
Yeah, and the changeup just again puts that thought in your mind. And for anybody sitting at home, and you know more than I know how it affected my career. I got Dick McCall for 2-0 fastball count, and 7 guys in a lineup with over 20 home runs in Detroit. I threw him a 2-0 changeup, hit a 1-hopper, and I said, what a wonderful pitch this is. You know, fastball, he knew a fastball was coming, but I threw something else, and it looks like the fastball, at least the good ones do.
Just missed.
Well, that's the pitch they wanted. They made a perfect pitch down and in. And watch how it comes back toward the inside corner. But Dana DeMute, the home plate umpire, didn't see it as a strike. Boy, that is awfully close there.
He doesn't even budge.
Too close to take.
Runner will go 3-2 with 2 men down. And it's low, ball 4. And Rodrigo thought he had the strikeout for ball 3, and instead it's ball 4. So the tying runs are on with 2 men down here in the 3rd.
Well, we saw Gibbons walk right before Matos hit a 1-2 curveball. So again, it's interesting philosophy again, whether it's Moneyball or the Yankees or any good offense. If they don't throw you strikes, you go down to first base and then hope somebody else will do the job. And Durazo against the Orioles last year, if you weren't with us earlier in the game, he hit .444 with 4 home runs and 11 RBIs.
Left field, playable for Larry Bigby, backing up, battling the wind, puts it away. So Rodrigo Lopez gets out of it. Bigby hauls it in for the out. And Lopez strands too. You saw the glance towards Dana DeMuth there. He thought he had a strikeout, didn't get it. We head to the bottom of the third. Mora, Tejada, and Sosa are coming up.
I've spent all my life around diamonds, but I don't know a thing about jewelry. That's why I put my trust in Marley Fine Jewelry. For over 30 years, Marley's had the reputation for fine designer jewelry. Now we have moved to a new, larger showroom. Our new store not only showcases Marley's unique and unusual designs, but also offers other fine jewelry and timepieces from around the world.
Enter to win a Mother's Day gold and diamond bracelet designed by Marley. Visit Marley Fine Jewelry in the festival at Woodhome or log on to marleyfinejewelry.com.
There's a cancer center in Maryland that's leading the way in the fight against cancer. Here, specialists take a minimally invasive approach to treatment so patients can get on with their lives. And researchers and physicians are working together to give individuals the most advanced treatment options, some of which are only available here, where hope is a way of life. The University of Maryland Greenebaum Cancer Center.
What are you doing, man? You gonna eat me again? You're more exciting than that. Come on, look at you.
Thanks.
You welcome. Instead, get a Subway sub on fresh baked bread, made just the way you like it.
Okay.
Wait, you gonna leave me here in the bag? Oh, man, that's cold.
Hurry into Subway restaurants for the $2.49 daily special. 7 regular 6-inch subs, 1 for each day of the week. On our freshly baked bread for the low price of $2.49. Subway. Eat fresh.
The home half of the third inning as the Orioles look to add to a 2-0 lead, courtesy of Luis Matos and a 2-run home run in the second inning. Glad you could join us on opening day 2005. Jim Hunter with Jim Palmer and Buck Martinez. And here's Melvin Mora leading off for the Birds against Barry Zito in the third. And ball one high. Silver Slugger Award winner last year at third base in the American League. And if you think about the offensive hitting third baseman in this league, that is some honor, not the least of which is that guy in New York, Alex Rodriguez, who won a Gold Glove a few years ago in Texas, a Gold Glove that should have gone to Mike Bordick because he hit a lot of home runs. People voted for him. So Melvin really opened the eyes of the voters with the year he had last year to get that award.
Melvin and Tejada both on the left side winning Silver Slugger awards, shortstop and third base. It was the first time an Oriole had won that award since '98 when Rafael Palmeiro won as a first baseman.
Fouls this one back behind the plate. That'll be in the crowd. And except for Ichiro, who base hits wise and average wise is in another league, Melvin Mora had a remarkable year.
You know what was amazing about Ichiro's season? He was hitting .255 at the end of April. And then he went on a tear and raised his average about 100 points the next month and set a new hit record.
Melvin gets into one left field. Burns has a play. And in front of the warning track will make the catch. So one man down here in the Orioles' third inning as Melvin Mora is retired. Well, today's contestant in the Mars first pitch sweepstakes, Sue Ellen Phipps of Reisterstown. Sue Ellen guessed today's first pitch from Orioles batter would result in a strike. That was incorrect. However, Sue Ellen Phipps has still won a $20 Mars Groceries gift certificate courtesy of Mars and the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network. And you too can play. Just enter at your favorite Mars supermarket. One away. Miguel Tejada takes high, ball one.
Miggy didn't hit too well against his former team a year ago, just 4 for 25, no homers and 2 RBI. You can bet he was pressing a little bit, trying to do well against his old teammates.
Yeah, probably a combination of good pitching and them knowing them and able to execute it. It's interesting when you talk about game plans that, you know, everybody, you have scouting reports. Some guys can execute them and some people believe in them. And
change up for a strike. Well, last year he became only the 4th Oriole, 5th time with a 200-hit season. As he finished up with 203 base hits. Trying to hit it out there.
Yeah, I was surprised. A lot of times if you broadcast for a team like I have for the Orioles, and of course, Buck, you do you know, other network stuff too, as I've done in the past, you don't see a guy a lot. And I was surprised how disciplined Miguel Tejada.
Yeah.
I thought I'd see somebody that, you know, I mean, not that he doesn't chase some pitches every once in a while. And of course, yeah, I think that who would know that better, because Oakland, you know, his first 6 years in the big leagues with Oakland, and then you have, you know, you had Mulder and Hudson and Zito and Rich Harden, who we will see, maybe we'll see on Wednesday night, depending on his blister, who throws in the upper 90s. So they had 4 pretty good pitchers that could execute the game plan they wanted against Miguel Tejada.
And again, ripped foul. Well, you talk about a 200-hit season. As you look at Sammy Sosa on deck, he'll bat next. And the consistency you have to have. And in the history of this franchise, back to 1954, only 5 times. Cal Ripken, 2 of those 200-hit seasons. And the B. Al Bunbury in 1980 was the first. Think of all the great hitters in your era, Jim, and no 200-hit seasons by any. And the other, B.J. Surhoff, still an active Oriole. So Tejada, a very elite list, and one of only 4 players, and it's been done only 5 times, 200 hits. Just inside, ball 4. Wow, Zito staring in at home plate.
Well, I tell you, that's the same curveball that Matos hit out of here. You know, he's lucky because you hang a curveball or a high slider to Miguel Tejada, it's like hitting the lottery. His eyes light up, and that ball well out of the strike zone. Down a little lower, I think he would have tried to hammer it out of here.
Now, that's what you were talking about with Tejada, how disciplined he is at the plate, because it would have been a very good pitch to swing at, even though it was a ball. Those are balls that generally end up in the seats, but knowing he's got Sammy Sosa behind him, he's able to take the pitch and set the table for Sosa.
Dad and his son join opening day. And here's Sammy. Ball 1.
It'll be interesting to watch this lineup over the course of the season and see how they intimidate pitchers around the American League, because there is an awful lot of thunder in this lineup, and it stretches all the way down into the night spot.
1-1 the count. Sosa's Oriole debut. The all-time leader in home runs in the Chicago Cubs organization. Good eye, ball 2. Sammy with 545 home runs as a member of the Cubs. 3rd in that franchise history in RBIs, trailing Cap Anson, who managed the team, so he kept putting himself in the lineup, and Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub. Loop to left field. Burns didn't see it. That'll fall. Base hit right off the end of the bat. Tejada hustling towards third base. They can't get him out. 2 out of 2, a bloop single, and the Birds have something going here in the 3rd.
Yeah, well, there's a perfect storm and the perfect season. He's 2 for 2. Didn't hit that one with a lot of authority. Well, you watch him take batting practice. He does hit the ball hard, but right off the end of the bat.
Yeah, it looked like an off-speed pitch. He was out in front of it a bit, but he's so strong, he was able to hit it in front of Eric Burns in left field. And again, Miguel Tejada goes 1st to 3rd to put the Orioles in another outstanding scoring opportunity.
Yeah, the interesting thing is it's kind of, you got Rafael Palmeiro, who over the course of his career has hit left-handers very well, 279 lifetime batting average, but last year really struggled at 189. And then Zito, who gets righties out better than lefties, at least last year.
Skied shallow right. Tejada's going to tag. Trouble with the ball is Swisher, and Kotze calls him off. Here comes Tejada. The throw goes to second base. Soto goes a sac fly and an RBI. And the Orioles fortunate there. Swisher lost the ball in the sun, and the center fielder had to take over. So Sosa back to first. Tejada scores, 3-0 game.
And of course, if you're struggling against lefties, or you did last year, this is a good way. Get a guy to third base with less than 2 outs. The ball starts out in right field. Right there, Swisher can't see it, and Kotze, he does. And then that ball, you could see again, Wynn playing tricks with it. Well, Rafael with his first RBI of the season.
Lopez takes strike 1. Barry Zito is 72-40 in his career. He's only in his 6th season. After his rookie year, in which he went 7-4, he had 2 absolutely brilliant seasons as Lopez rips a single in the left. And the Orioles coming right at Barry Zito. Javi Lopez has his first base hit of the year. The Barry Zito, guys, was 40-13 his first 2 full seasons. His last 2 seasons, however, he has gone 25-23, and I think what's unique about that is the ERA is very similar, yet the record doesn't show that. 40 wins his first 2 full years, 25 his last 2.
Now, there's a couple of factors that go into that. First of all, they lose Jason Giambi, then they lose Miguel Tejada. So I don't care how well you pitch, you lose bats like that. And then a year ago, they lost Keith Folk, the closer. So that all has an impact on a pitcher's won-loss record, but you can see how dramatically the drop-off in wins and losses. Although he was outstanding in both of his first 2 seasons when he really dominated hitters, 218, 219. And he's still throwing close to the same. I mean, he hasn't lost that much yet.
Yeah, I don't think he makes as good of pitches. And at the end of the day, if you're not overpowering, and at 88, 89, you're not. I don't care if you're left-handed, you throw with both hands. He's got a curveball, he's got a changeup, probably changeup better than it was when he first came up. But again, you got to make good pitches to get good hitters out. And
Pounce to shortstop. Crosby mishandles it. Sosa rounding third, trying to come to the plate. And he is out at the plate. So the Athletics get the out at the plate as Sosa tried to get in there, and the Athletics avoid further damage. Birds do add to their lead, getting a run and stranding a couple. We'll head to the 4th as Crosby turned a misplay into an out. Orioles have a 3-0 lead.
Southwest Airlines is not just for short flights anymore. Now you can fly nonstop from BWI Airport to cities in the West for just $99 to $149 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
It looks like a black and white multifunctional. It prints like a black and white multifunctional. It costs the same as a black and white multifunctional. But it also prints in full color. Introducing the next big thing in document technology. Brought to you, of course, by Advanced Business Systems. We live and breathe this stuff.
Have a good time, Chief.
Now there's Barry Zito, who got out of a jam as Sammy Sosa tried to hustle towards the plate on this error.
Bobby Crosby stays with it, turns around and sees that Sosa's going home, makes a strong throw to Jason Kenda, who takes it on 2 hops and then plants in front of home plate to tag out Sammy Sosa. Tom Trebelhorn gives him the go-ahead. He wasn't really sure how far behind the shortstop that ball went, but boy, that's a tough opportunity right there to end the inning with Sosa thrown out and Matos the next hitter. He hits with the bases loaded if Sammy stops at third.
Scott Hatteberg will lead off for the Athletics. Lopez now with a 3-0 lead, and it's high 1-0. The players are bothered by the wrappers that are getting on the field and blowing around. It's interfering with their concentration. Hatteberg picked one up, put it in his pocket. Palmeiro has it 1 away. So 1 away here in the 4th inning.
Yeah, nothing like the well-directed, as we see that Anderson score, the well-directed line drive.
Well, Rodrigo Lopez, guys, making his second opening day start. Let's go back a couple of years ago, 2003, somewhat different conditions. That's not confetti.
Right here, this is Ellis Burke, I believe, and he reaches out, and Geronimo Hill was catching at the time. He said the ball hit the railing in foul territory, but I think Chuck Merriweather was the umpire. He couldn't see it. He called it fair. It turned out that Rodrigo pitched well on a very inclement day, and ended up, I don't know if he got the loss or not.
No decision.
I think a no decision. I'm trying to think. Somebody came in and hung a slider for a game winner, but not ideal conditions. Nice.
Gary Matthews had the game-winning hit that day, and the bullpen got the win. And Rodrigo had a no decision, pitching in conditions he was not accustomed to in his native Mexico.
Who is? Going to be an Eskimo there. Oh, balmy day out there. Let's go get him.
Burns fouls it back just below us.
I do remember, though, John Lowenstein one night hit a home run in the snow. It was flurrying off of Charlie Huff. And of course, they asked John, and only John Lowenstein could talk like. He said, "I hit it between the snowflakes." Just timed it. That's a knuckleball. You can time a knuckleball in the snowflakes.
Swing on the appeal to first base. Jim Joyce at first base today.
I've really been impressed with Rodrigo Lopez's pitches today. We've seen a number of quality pitches, fastballs right on the corners, good late breaking sliders, and the changeup has been effective so far. Don't you think that that's a real encouraging sign for a pitcher to go out there and have all your pitches at your disposal in your first start of the season?
Well, it is, and it's also an encouraging sign if you got youngsters like Bedard and Cabrera sitting on the bench.
Towards the middle, that's going to get on through for a base hit.
And the reason is, it's something that Jim Hunter has talked about all afternoon, and that is basically strike one, strike two ahead of the count. You can use all your pitches. Hitters are forced to expand the strike zone. I mean, there's a guy that's going to get in the Hall of Fame this year, Wade Boggs, and who was one of the most disciplined hitters, but with 2 strikes, that strike zone even then got a little bit bigger. That's what you like to have the hitter have to do.
And here's Bobby Crosby now, batting with a man on. Athletics have had base runners now for 3 consecutive innings. They have 4 hits. They've all been singles. High fastball, 1-0. Bobby Crosby out of Westminster, California, played his college ball at Long Beach State. He played in only 270 minor league games, which makes him a typical Athletics player. They recognize talent, they push the talent, and if you're ready, they give you a shot.
Well, again, that's that philosophy of trying to lessen the risk. You know more about college players. You know more about their their physical well-being, their emotional well-being. They have more experience, so you can get a better read on them. Because they don't have as much money as other teams to spend. Can't afford to make mistakes.
They have new ownership that was just approved over this last weekend. Lewis Wolf is heading that ownership group, and now Billy Beane, the general manager, is a minority owner himself. And one of the first things they did with Billy Beane as a new owner is extended his own contract.
Yeah. Well, they asked him, they said, now that you're the owner, if you're not doing a good job as GM, will you consider firing yourself? He goes, that's not going to happen. No. I didn't even think about that.
But certainly you have to give the A's credit for what they've done, given their limited resources. The fact they have a stadium that's not an ideal situation, competing with the Giants right across the bay, but they have continued to put together pennant contending ball clubs.
And there's strike one. Well, the Athletics have a string going, 6 consecutive winning seasons, and there are 169 games above 500 combined over the past 6 years.
Yeah, and Ken Mock has had to deal with the loss of Giambi, Tejada, Keith Folk, impact pitchers.
Yeah, Jason Isringhausen ended up going to the Cardinals.
Yeah,
they went out and got Billy Koch, and then they lose him.
Yeah. So Maka, you know, he didn't get any votes at all last year for Manager of the Year, but you've got to admire what he did, winning 91 games, not having a legitimate closer like they did the year before.
Strike two. Well, they were in it till the final weekend, finished one game back of Anaheim, now the Los Angeles, Anaheim, Southern California, Orange County Angels. And if not for the Red Sox with 98 wins in the East, could have been in contention for the wild card as well. I mean, Boston just had an outstanding year in the AL East.
I mean, 91 wins is a heck of an accomplishment in a very competitive division.
Well, it certainly is. What they went into early September with a 4-game lead, but went 10-17 in the month of September, which is very un-Oakland-like. They usually play their best ball in the months of August and September.
No, Hudson and Mulder, neither one pitched well in the second half.
A foul out of play. Kind of interesting, the style of the Athletics. Down by 3, maybe playing it safe, but Burns was not running on that 3-2 pitch. Jim mentioned Oakland last year, the fewest stolen base attempts. And let's take a look at our Aflac trivia question. Name the 4 Orioles who drove in 100 runs in the 1996 season, which set a club record. Boog was not one of them, but he was around. Oh, that looks good out there, doesn't it? Does Boog deliver? Burns running now, and it's fouled back. Crosby trying to hit it the opposite way.
Well, he chose that pitch to move, and there you see Boog's Barbecue out on the promenade. They had a beautiful day today. Yesterday it was cloudy and cold, and we had no idea what to expect, but you could see the fans had turned out for opening day.
There's some line there for Boogs. Back inside Oriole Park. Burns with his leadoff first, held by Palmeiro. Burns goes again and fouls it back.
Eric Burns was 17 of 18 a year ago in steals, but basically he's the only guy that really runs consistently. Did a good job of reading his pitchers and picking his situations to run. On Washington going through the signs, they don't run much, as Jim pointed out. It's something that they feel like it's wasting an out if you get thrown out. And then the opposite side of that is, if as a pitcher and you got to think about a base runner, it divides your attention and divides your focus between first base and the hitter at home.
And Lopez keeping him close.
Yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon. I mean, if you really pay attention, 3-2, you're not worried about the guy stealing. You're worried more about the guy at the home plate, because if you throw ball 4, it's runners at first and second. So just don't want to get him a huge lead, but it's not a steal. He's running to stay out of the double play on the ground ball.
Burns stays put this time, and it's a strikeout. So Maka that time had the strategy right, because Crosby struck out. Second strikeout for Rodrigo Lopez, and 2 away.
Yeah, good breaking ball right here. It's a nasty slider down and away. That's, again, if you get into catchers meetings, how do we want to pitch the guy? 3-2. We're going to throw him a low and away slider. That's exactly what he does.
A strike to ball slider, one that starts out in the strike zone and breaks down and away from a right-handed hitter. Perfect pitch.
The 2 down with the runner at first, and Nick Swisher up for a second time. Base hit. Sosa plays it on a couple of hops and fires back in. Now this is the 3rd consecutive inning the Athletics have had 2 base runners on. Sammy Sosa showing off his arm there. They have yet to score, and Swisher gets a base hit on opening day.
Well, part of it is pitch count. You knock on the door often enough, maybe somebody will let you in, and you get the bullpen up. And of course, I think the big question for the Orioles this year, B.J. Ryan at least is going to start the season as the closer. Who your setup guy is going to be? Are they going to do a good job? I mean, and I'm sure Ken Maka, that's what he wants to see. You're down by 3. Let's get into their bullpen. Let's get the pitch count up for Rodrigo Lopez. If we don't get him out here, maybe we'll get him out an inning or 2 from now.
Number 9 batter Mark Ellis up, and it's ball 1.
As you say, I think the bullpen has a chance to be the strength of this Orioles ball club, but there are a lot of question marks. Can BJ close? Is Julio going to be a good setup guy? Steve Klein, Steve Reed still have something left in their tank, but I think it's got a chance to be a very good bullpen given the depth with Rick Bauer down there now and Todd Williams, who pitched so well for them last year. But you never know. Get into the season, you got to play the games, and now Ray Miller has popped out of the Orioles dugout. I'm going to talk things over here. Having the advantage of a year under his belt and an entire spring, he's very short and quick with the message. He understands what makes each one of his pitchers tick and how to get their attention, so he delivers his message to Rodrigo and heads back to the dugout. I think he's gotten away from his fastball a little bit here. It seems as though he's relying more on breaking balls and changeups.
Ray Miller. Back to the bench, and Lopez back to work on Ellis. All three. There's Rodrigo and his wife Rami welcomed their second child during spring training. Ray Miller went to the mound. They named the child Raymond. But they said it was just a coincidence. And there's a strike. There's little Rodrigo there with Rami. And Raymond in the stroller. Rami looks concerned. Bounce towards Tejada. This should end the inning. Miguel will go to first, and he got it. So Rodrigo gets out of the jam, and the Athletics strand two more. Middle of the fourth at Oriole Park. Birds lead at 3-0.
I just got Verizon DSL service instead of cable, and I'm glad I got it.
It's $29.95 a month for Verizon.
I mean, what is that? It's $1 a day.
They doubled the speed, and the price stayed the same.
The Verizon DSL is so fast, it's like lightning.
The DSL thing has got me flying.
Verizon Online DSL is twice as fast as before, and it includes MSN Premium, something you don't get with Comcast.
Now you get pop-up blockers,
firewall, an antivirus thing,
and parental controls.
Parental controls, that's huge.
It's still just $29.95 a month. Comcast is $42.95 a month. That's $13 more a month than Verizon.
I'm loving it. I'm saving a ton of money.
They give me all this stuff, and it's inexpensive. $29.95 per month.
Plus, when you call 1-800-931-2375 now, you'll get a wireless router and modem in one, so everyone can be online at home at the same time.
I had a lot of choices.
But I want Verizon DSL.
So call 1-800-931-2375 today.
It's definitely a no-brainer.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Cobalt Coupe and Sedan with more standard horsepower than Civic or Corolla, and our 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. Two great cars starting at $14,190. Cobalt, the new commotion in the Chevy family. See your Baltimore area Chevy dealer today.
Let's go back to the second inning, the Advanced Business Systems game summary.
Hey, Matos hit his first home run of the year, a 2-run home run on a curveball out over the plate. He hit 6 home runs last year, and it's a great start for his season. Take that breaking ball and drive it into the Orioles bullpen in deep left center. And he's become a very good breaking ball hitter. And he has staked Rodrigo Lopez and the Orioles to a 3-run lead here. Matos 2-run homer. Rodrigo Lopez 4 innings, 5 hits. He's been able to avoid the damage of those 5 hits. Sosa's had 2 singles in his 2 at-bats. And Tejada's been on board twice and scored a run.
And here is Luis Matos leading off for the Orioles in the 4th against Zito. Off-speed pitch for strike 1. Luis Matos won his job back in center field at a very good and a consistent spring training, and he's still, guys, only 26 years old. Check swing, and he got the call. Jim Joyce said no swing. New shortstop Marco Scudero is in place of Bobby Crosby. And Scudero, who had a good spring, and he may be the odd man out when they need their 5th starter. Check swing and it's high, 2-1. The Athletics elected for opening day until they need their 5th starter to have the extra benchman, and that's Scudero. He played very well last year as the everyday second baseman. Center field playable for Katze. And 1 down in the 4th. Matos is retired. There's Larry Bigby, who had a home run yesterday in Philadelphia in the final exhibition game. And a typical Larry Bigby home run. He hit it out to left center field. Just went with the pitch and really hit it. Led the Orioles in home runs in spring training, despite not having a very good spring at the plate.
Yeah, 4 home runs, and it's interesting, Buck. You know, when Jim and I did the game up in Vieira against the Nationals, Tommy McCraw was talking about Nick Johnson, another left-hand hitter, very much like Larry Bigby. And he said he's got to learn to hit the ball in. And if you looked at Larry Bigby, you would say if he had a hole, it would be probably up and in. And I was asking to Terry Crowley today, the hitting instructor for the Orioles, and I said, you really have to do that. He said, swing's the same.
And a base hit for Bigby.
But while we see him, he'll hit a lot of home runs the other way on balls up out over the plate. Terry said you can take the same swing on a ball in, which is what he just did there, was to count in his favor, and short stroke, front elbow right to the ball, and all of a sudden you can start hitting home runs to all parts of the ballpark.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to take away your strength, and I think his strength is to center field and left center. That's when he's really driving the ball well. But he will learn how to handle that ball inside, and how many pitchers can paint inside inning after inning. It just doesn't happen. So take care of what you do best, and that's hitting the ball away from him. I think the same is true with Nick Johnson, and they've been messing with his stroke all year long, and finally at the end of the spring he kind of went back to his strength. He had a couple of home runs to finish up spring training. And you remember him hitting second for the Dodgers, I mean for the Yankees. He was a pretty impressive young hitter.
And there's a strike to Brian Roberts. Brian looking for his first base hit of the season, and this is a very good combination here for a hit and run. Bigby has very good speed at first, and Brian, as a right-handed batter, is a very effective opposite field hitter. Bigby is going, hit slowly towards the middle. Scudero has only 1 play, and it's the first, so by sending the runner, the Orioles avoid the possible double play, although that ball was hit so slowly they may not have turned 2. The Orioles get the better of it because Bigby now in scoring position with 2 men down.
Lee Mazzilli knows he can do a lot of things with Bigby at first base and Roberts at the plate. The ball was inside. Brian does a good job just to get the ball in play and hits it to the shortstop. Bigby moves himself into scoring position, and that's your primary goal on a hit and run. Advance the runner at least to second base. Anything more is a bonus.
All speed head pitches high. 1-0 on Melvin Mora.
Boy, again, I got to say, this is such a tough stretch of the lineup that opposing pitchers have to deal with. Melvin Mora developed into one of the best hitters in baseball a year ago.
That'll be out of play. 1-1 the count. And you look back on his career, and Melvin Mora had to work for everything that he has become. He did not play a major league game until his 9th year in professional baseball as a member of the Mets. It took him that long to reach the major leagues, and then when he did, he instantly was labeled utility man because he was versatile.
Oh, he can play anywhere. Really good athlete, good soccer player, played soccer professionally. But I tell you what he did in the last 2 years is do what all good hitters that give pitchers trouble is, and that's cover the plate, have great balance, use the whole field. And I think the same thing we talked about Larry Bigby, but with a much more mature player. Terry Crowley finally got to Melvin Mora and basically said, you know what, you can hit 300 and also hit home runs, may even hit more, as it turned out he has, by using the whole field. You'll hit breaking balls better. You know, he kind of covers the inside part of the plate by getting hit so much. And that's not a good thing for your body, but it does. You know, if you looked at Baylor, if you looked at Frank Robinson, they take that inside strike. Stop clowning around. Come on.
Who are those guys?
Yeah, you know, you got to wonder what makes the guy say, hey, why don't we get dressed up like clowns and go to the ball game, huh?
Well, maybe they're Ronald McDonald.
What a great idea. Oh, yeah. No, I'm all for it. Let's go.
You can act like a clown and nobody knows who you are.
Slice to right field. Swisher battling the sun. Can't get it. It falls in. Bigby will score. Mora heads to second, and he'll settle for a bloop double. Swisher having all kinds of trouble in right field with the sun and the wind. And that one benefited the Orioles as Melvin Mora gets Bigby home.
Nick Swisher didn't have a very good jump on that ball at all, and the ball pushed it away by the wind. It's a high breaking ball. Melvin Mora expects it to be caught in right field. The ball slices away from Swisher, who is not close to it when he dives. By the time he gets to his feet, Melvin Mora is at second base. Bigby comes in to score. But the wind and the sun really made things difficult for the A's right fielder.
And here is Tejada. Strike one. The right field is the difficult sun field with the 305 starts. There's no doubt about it. And as the day goes on, first base also becomes an issue because of the sun setting. Miguel looked fooled there, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, all good outfielders take a direct route to the ball, but if you can't see it, and the wind's blowing sometimes, and we saw it right there, and there's the shadows, and this is the place where if you're going to shag fly balls during batting practice, you want to be in left or center. You want to be in right. You can't see anything.
Swisher, the 24-year-old rookie, a September call-up last year in his first opening day start. Kendall out to talk with Zito. There's Ken Maka, the A's skipper.
Now, Ken Maka's team committed just 91 errors a year ago, but he'll tell you that they're not quite as good defensively as those numbers might reflect. They have a legitimate center fielder, but both corner outfielders are not what you would categorize as good defensive players. And I'll tell you what, errors on the infield will prolong innings. Errors in the outfield will cost you games. And it's not even errors so much as it's misplayed balls, balls that aren't caught. And mind you, that was a slicing ball away from Nick Swisher, but he didn't get a very good jump on it.
Well, from 0-2 to an even count on Miguel Tejada, who has been pitched around somewhat by Zito. Miguel's patience aiding in back-to-back walks. Zito's walked 3 and 2 have scored in this game. Hopped up. Second baseman Ellis has a play battling the sun. And he makes the catch, and the Athletics get out of it without any further damage. Tough day for Zito. Tough day for Swisher in the outfield. The Orioles have taken advantage. Birds with a 4-0 lead.
It started just like any other community fair.
But it didn't end up that way.
She wanted me to get my blood pressure checked at the Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield booth.
He never goes to the doctor.
Finally, I gave in.
Sir, you need to see your doctor.
My blood pressure was so high, I couldn't believe it. If I hadn't sat down in that chair...
Let's not talk about that.
Thanks to Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, I got the care I needed when I needed it.
The benefits of blue.
All right. Yeah. Who's ready to go, huh? Who's ready to play then? Who's on fire? All right, T-Dog, huh? T-Dog, Big E, Big E. Get out there, huh? Big E today, T-Dog. We say Eddie.
Available seating for 7, Mercury Mountaineer.
Orioles baseball on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network is brought to you in part by Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, the benefits of blue, and by Verizon Wireless. Reliable, you'll know it when you have it. Verizon Wireless. A beautiful day here for opening day at Oriole Park. And a tough day for that gentleman, Barry Zito and Swisher. And there's Swisher.
Somebody's on the dance plan already.
I didn't know Babe Ruth was Irish. So they got Babe's Irish Pub, the sign said. Top of the lineup for the Athletics as we head to the 5th. The Orioles now with a 4-0 lead. One hopper to Brian Roberts. One down on one pitch. Brian Roberts was injured in spring training if you are to be injured at the right time, because he had plenty of time to get back and be ready for opening day. Don't forget, catch the power of Orioles baseball. Full and partial season plans still available. Variety of great locations here at the ballpark. Guarantee yourself the best seats for the season. Several plans begin with the Yankee series next weekend. And strike one to the batter at the plate, Jason Kendall. Just call 888-848-BIRD. Orioles season ticket representatives are currently available, so call now. And the Orioles go right on the road following this series. Phil Izzo was in here in the 2nd inning with the itineraries. That's how efficient Phil Izzo is.
Yeah, and they not only do they go on the road, they go to New York.
Welcome to Camden Yards. Nice opening day ceremony, and here's your itinerary. Don't forget the pack. The Orioles will go to Tampa following New York, so 6 games on the road trip over 7 days with a day off next Monday in Tampa, and then the Orioles come back for that series here against the Yankees. So they will see the Yankees 6 of the first 12 games.
Yeah, Red Sox and Yankees 11 times in the month of April. How'd you think, Buck? You know, if you look at last year, the Orioles had that early lead against the Red Sox, eventually won 10 out of 19, but the definitive statement of this ball club will not only Oakland, where they were 0-7, it was how they play the Yankees. 6-13, 5-4, 5-13, or 5-14 the year before.
They have to play closer to 500 against the Yankees, and the Orioles have the 3rd toughest April schedule in all of baseball because they're playing the Yankees and the Red Sox so often.
Sharply hit to Morrow, backhands nicely, and got him. 2 men out. Boy, Melvin Morrow last year became a very good defensive third baseman, and he is picking it right up.
Now, it took him a while to get comfortable with the timing over at third base, and I can remember vividly some games early in the season when he had a long outfielder's glove. He changed the glove, and he got much more comfortable and confident at third base. That's not an easy play, but he makes it look easy as he goes to the back end, trusts his arm, and guns down Jason Kendall.
The 2 men down here is Eric Chavez, and this one's pulled to Brian Roberts, who has it go off his glove and into the outfield for an error. So a 2-out base run. That may have had some backspin on it. Took a funny hop.
I think a lot of times infielders will tell you. We saw it with Melvin. He not only catches the ball quickly, but he knows he's got some time. Right here, the ball off the end of the bat because it's a changeup, and it takes that kind of a short hop right out in front and stays down. And infielders would tell you a lot easier to come up than to go down, and the ball gets under Brian Roberts' glove. You don't see that very often. He went about 120 games, 50 games early, and then 72 games later in the season without making an error. So very steady.
Well, we're not making any excuses for Brian. That was a relatively easy play, but you move from Florida where the infield is hard baked after days and days of sun. You come up here to a soft infield and you get fooled by the bounces.
Yeah, I was thinking yesterday when I was listening to you, Mr. Hunter, up in Philadelphia, that it's probably advantageous. The A's were flying all the way across the country after that weekend series with the Giants, but the Orioles at least acclimate themselves to the weather. 45 degrees yesterday, a little nicer today here at Camden Yards, but you didn't have a chance to, other than infield practice, take any balls on the infield here.
They also played the 2 night games in Oklahoma City against the Cardinals. In the first game there, it was in the mid-40s. So they've had 3 games in less than perfect conditions, and certainly non-Florida conditions. The Orioles did not have a single night game in spring training this year in Florida, so every game was played in the sunshine and as warm as it would be that particular day. And the last 2 weeks in Florida, the temperature was in the 80s every day. Rained a lot, windy, but it was warm.
This is a chance for Oakland to try to get back into this game. Disciplined hitter at the plate, you get an extra out. You got a guy on deck if The Rubio Durazo somehow able to get on. You know, as we mentioned, hit 4 home runs against the Orioles. Hatterberg is lined out and got a base hit. He's always been tough to pitch against.
And this is one thing that Lee Mazzilli has a distinct advantage over Oakland in that he has 3 left-handers in his bullpen. So he can neutralize the heart of this order with a left-handed reliever.
And a bloop to right, and then the ball Sosa will have to play it on the hop. So the Athletics now trying to take advantage of the error which would have ended the inning. A bloop hit follows, and 2 on with 2 down. Durazo picks up a base hit. Here's Scott Hatterberg.
And that's why it's such an important inning, because if you're Ken Maga, you know you're not going to bullpen this early because Rodrigo's got a shutout going. You've got the matchups you want. 3rd time through the order. They've kind of seen his stuff. They've seen somewhat of his pattern, even though he's mixed his pitches up so well.
Strike 1. Scott Hatterberg was a 1st-round draft pick when he was drafted into pro ball by the Red Sox back in 1991. And an indirect, somewhat Oriole connection, because the Athletics got a compensation pick because, or the Red Sox did, excuse me, because they lost Mike Boddicker. He left the Red Sox and went to the Royals as a free agent, and that compensation pick turned into Hatterberg, who skies tomatoes. So Lopez gets out of it, and the Athletics can't cash in as Rodrigo Lopez pitches out of a jam. An error hit, 2 men left, middle of the 5th. The Birds with a 4-0 lead. Hey, O's fans, Mars Supermarkets wants you to be part of O's TV and win great prizes. Stop in at any participating Mars supermarket and enter to win the O's TV First Pitch Sweepstakes. If your entry is picked and you've correctly guessed the outcome of the very first pitch of a game to an Orioles batter, a strike, a ball, a hit, or an out, you'll win a $100 gift certificate from O's TV and Mars Supermarket. If that first pitch is a home run, you'll win a $1,000 gift certificate. No purchase necessary. Play First Pitch Sweepstakes with O's TV and Mars Supermarket today.
If there's one thing baseball fans can agree on, it's Major League Baseball on XM satellite radio. Every team, all season long, plus commercial-free music.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Cobalt Coupe and Sedan with more standard horsepower than Civic or Corolla, and our 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. 2 great cars starting at $14,190. Cobalt, the new commotion in the Chevy family. See your Baltimore area Chevy dealer today.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Orioles look to add to a 4-0 lead. Sosa, Palmeiro, and Lopez will come up. Barry Zito is still on a beautiful day for opening day here at Oriole Park. Sellout crowd, enthusiastic crowd during the pregame ceremony. And here comes Sammy, who is perfect as an Oriole. They can't get him out, guys.
Not yet.
And it's high 1-0. Sammy has really enjoyed being an Oriole since the day of the trade. Came into town, had his physical, popped him up. Ellis battling the wind and the sun. Calls it in for the out. And 1 away. Sammy came in to see Dr. Goldner and Dr. Chick. Got all the medical stuff out of the way. Had a press conference. Came over to the hot stove show at the Sheraton and got a standing ovation as he walked in. And the smile never left his face. He knew he was in a special baseball city as he walked into that room. And he has been smiling ever since. As Palmeiro takes low 1-0.
Well, when you think about the last 2 off seasons, the Orioles were able to pick up Miguel Tejada and Sammy Sosa. Pretty impressive work by the front office.
Hit hard, but right to the first baseman Hatterberg, who flips to Zito for the out. 2 men down. Hatterberg plays it cleanly. And Sammy told everybody that day, I have a new house, and this is Miguel Tejada's team. I'm just one of the guys. I'm one of the players. This is Miguel's team, and I'm just happy to help. And he will help. Pitch low to Javi Lopez, 1-0.
Sammy Sosa made his debut with the Texas Rangers as a teammate of Rafael Palmeiro. Now they are reunited, and it's interesting, they were both in Chicago. Sammy for a much longer time than Rafael, but here they are reunited as teammates in Baltimore, both 500 home run hitters.
Yeah, we were talking about 1,125 home runs between the two of them.
First time in the history of the game there have been teammates with 500 career home runs apiece, and it's pretty impressive. And just the balance of this attack, and it's got to be encouraging for everybody in this lineup, knowing you don't have to be the man, you don't have to win every game yourself. Rafael Palmeiro on the verge of collecting 3,000 career hits. It's a potent lineup, and certainly one that pitchers aren't that comfortable working against.
Rafael is 10th all-time in home runs, and Sammy Sosa is 7th. In the history of the game, all the players who have put on a uniform, you have 2 of the top 10 home run hitters in the same lineup. Before too long, Sosa will be 5th. He's got a piece to stay alive. Oriole Hall of Famer Frank Robinson is 586. He is 5th. Sammy is only 12 behind Robbie. And he got a fastball by him on the 3-2 pitch. So Barry Zito, for the first time in this game, has a 3-up, 3-down inning as he retires the side in order. We'll head to the 6th at Oriole Park opening day, and the Birds have a 4-0 lead.
Want to get away? Now you can. Just go to southwest.com for our $39 internet specials from BWI Airport to the Northeast. So make the better choice. Southwest Airlines. Purchased by April 21st.
You are now free to move about the country.
2 Wendy's mozzarella chicken supremes. Give me one. I helped you move in here. In college, I was your only friend. I let you take my girlfriend to prom. When Mom and Dad could only send one of us to camp, I let you go. When I was 4, I found you in a basket in the woods and convinced my parents to raise you. Come on!
Now we're even.
Totally even.
The Mozzarella Chicken and Cheeseburger Supremes. 2 slices of mozzarella and a creamy Parmesan sauce. Yep, it's that good.
Spring is in the air, and you know what that means. Maryland's weather can change in an instant. And when that happens, turn to WJZ's first warning weather.
Continue to track this storm as it heads out.
WJZ's Bob Turk.
Our live Doppler radar is constantly scanning the skies, searching for approaching storm.
This morning, live Doppler radar takes us in.
WJZ's Brooks Tomlin.
And when a severe weather strikes, we're able to pinpoint the storm and zero in on changing weather conditions right down to your neighborhood.
First warning weather only on WJZ 13, Baltimore's news station.
For the 6th inning, as the Orioles enjoy a 4-0 lead, each team with an error and each team with 6 base hits. Rodrigo Lopez has been able to pitch out of jams. And don't forget, opening night comes up this Wednesday, day off tomorrow. Come on out and celebrate the arrival of the Birds' newest slugger, Sammy Sosa, and welcome the entire 2005 O squad. The first 15,000 fans, 18 and over, receive a Sammy Sosa t-shirt. Get here early. Tickets available now. Call 888-848-BIRDER online at Orioles.com. That is a good-looking t-shirt. Here's Eric Burns leading off. Pops it up. Ryan Roberts calling. Here comes Sosa. And Sammy calls him off and makes the catch. 1 down. Easier play for the outfielder coming in.
He's got a better angle on it, and Brian Roberts went out until he heard Sosa call him off, and we had told you all day long the sky is high, the wind is blowing. Roberts has got a bead on it, but he's listening for Sosa, and once he hears Sammy say, "I got it," he peels out of the way.
This has got the new contact lenses.
He can see it much more clearly now.
He's got these new colored lenses that he wears in the daytime.
Is that what you were talking to him about? I walked in on that.
Well, I was talking the other day in Jupiter, Florida. They look like the devil. They're kind of a little reddish tinge. And of course, he went 3 for 3, and then he said he wore them yesterday on a somewhat overcast day. And he said he could see pretty well. So optically, in the daytime, where his normal lenses at night baseball, which would be the majority of the time.
He had a good day in Philadelphia yesterday. Doubled his first at bat and another base hit.
It's the lenses.
Tigers making a statement on opening day. Look at that, a pitcher's duel at Comiskey.
Mark Burley and Chase Westbrook in that game.
Let's see. Burley hurt his ankle. Westbrook got hit by a line drive in here.
How they doing?
Yeah, they're doing pretty good, aren't they?
So much for spring training.
Yeah.
Brewers win on opening day.
Ben Sheets and Oliver Perez.
This ball carries to right. Sosa will play the carom. Trying to play the carom. It gets past him, but he hustles to keep it to a double.
Well, you know, it's funny. Everybody talks about Sammy, better known for hitting home runs. How will he play right field? And still remember the infielder Chris Sabo had to play right field one day, and I said, "Are you nervous?" He said, "No, I'm just going to turn around and play it off the wall." But there's an art to playing it off the wall. And today it's a hard read. You don't know if you're going to be able to get it. He made a good decision, but he'll find you got to be a couple of more steps away. Otherwise, that ball will bounce off the wall, off the rubberized track, and over your head. So right here, he doesn't know he's going to get it or not. And right there, it's just a little bit too close over the head. Nice backup by the center fielder. He's there just in case Sammy can't get it.
Now that rubberized warning track, the ball will really bounce back toward the field, so you have to make sure you don't get too close to the wall if indeed it's going to hit high above the wall beyond your reach.
Swisher would love to get a base hit here to try to get a run back. He's had a tough day in the field. Good pitch off speed, 1-1.
Oh, he hammered a high fastball into right field for a base hit his last time up. If we look at the bullpen, the newly acquired Steve Klein had a very, very good year for the Cardinals last year. ERA about what, 167. Left-handed specialist.
Guide to right. Sosa back on the ball and runs it down. 2 men out. Scudero thought that ball had a chance and does not tag. So Sammy Sosa learning the nuances of right field in Camden Yards. He's already learned about the rubberized warning track out there, and that time he battled the sun.
Well, today's a little bit like an afternoon game at Wrigley with the wind blowing, and I'm sure Sammy feels pretty comfortable out there. He got a good beat on that ball. It was hit sharply, but he retreated in a hurry, and Rodrigo Lopez appreciates the defensive play by Sosa in right.
Learning his new house. Here you see the new addition this year, the brick going all the way out almost to the outfield wall.
Yeah, the players aren't real high on that. Talking about that brick wall. Last year they put it in behind home plate, and now it's extended down the right field and left field line. All of the players commenting that yeah, it used to be a padded wall, so on wet nights it could be a very dangerous situation. Even though my understanding is that the Players Association okayed it. I'm not sure they asked any of the Oriole players, but
yeah, it's obviously a safety concern. They think that if you go over there on a pop-up and have to deal with a brick wall as opposed to a padded wall, it's a much different scenario.
Ball and a strike on Mark Ellis, the number 9 batter. Foul back.
And then one of the security people was saying not only is the brick wasn't done very well. He was critiquing the brickwork.
It certainly gives you that old-fashioned ballpark look. Aesthetically, it's appealing. And the fans, there's a new section of seats extended out onto the field a little further. 2 rows of seats on both foul lines that give the fans a little bit closer perspective to the playing field.
Bounce slowly towards Tejada. Bill's got a gun and he got it. So the double does not hurt Rodrigo Lopez. The Athletics for a 5th consecutive inning have stranded a base runner. They've left 9. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th at Oriole Park. Gibbons, Matos, and Bigby are coming up.
I just got Verizon DSL service instead of cable, and I'm glad I got it.
It's $29.95 a month for Verizon.
I mean, what is that? It's $1 a day.
They doubled the speed, and the price stayed the same.
Verizon DSL is so fast, it's like lightning.
The DSL thing has got me flying.
Verizon Online DSL is twice as fast as before, and it includes MSN Premium, something you don't get with Comcast.
Now you get pop-up blockers,
firewall, an antivirus thing,
and parental controls.
Parental controls, that's huge.
It's still just $29.95 a month. Comcast is $42.95 a month. That's $13 more a month than Verizon.
I'm loving it. I'm saving a ton of money.
They give me all this stuff, and it's inexpensive. $29.95 per month.
Plus, when you call 1-800-931-2375 now, you'll get a wireless router and modem in one, so everyone can be online at home at the same time.
I had a lot of choices.
But I wanted Verizon DSL.
So call 1-800-931-2375 today.
It's definitely a no-brainer.
Watch that. I got him. I see him. Whoa! Give me the ball, Pops. Come get it. I think that's a challenge. Are you serious? I won't even put my bag down. Oh, come on, man. Bro, let that man shoot. I got nothing. We don't got nothing. Your mouth looks dry. Have a Coke. You know what that is? That's the room time, son. Legend.
So back here at Oriole Park, the Birds enjoying a 4-0 lead on opening day. Nice shot downtown, the Bromo Tower. And don't forget, you can hit a home run when you play the Mega Millions game for the Maryland Lottery. Tomorrow's jackpot is worth a whopping, guys, $86 million. 9 ways to win. You'll feel like you just hit a grand slam. Just visit your favorite Maryland Lottery retailer today, the Maryland Lottery. Let yourself play. Zito's still on. Here's Gibbons. And there's a strike. Gibbons has been on base twice, worked the walk, scored, reached on an error. And it's low 1-1. Buck, I was impressed when Jim told me before the game that he was so anxious to get to Baltimore to start the season, he decided to drive.
Yeah. Big mistake.
And unfortunately, and there's Justin Duxer, right-hander.
95 is a nice highway to cruise on, right?
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, if you come from Florida or actually, you know, anywhere, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, you want to get in the RV business because everybody's got one. Unbelievable. Of course, I also picked April 1st, and as we look at Bruce Chen, who will be the Orioles' 5th starter, at least scheduled.
I think Bruce is just throwing in this scenario. We saw Steve Klein up last inning.
And he went too far, says Dana DeMuth. So a strikeout for Zito, and Gibby back to the bench.
Oh, Buck, you watch this stuff right here. I mean, Barry Zito almost looks like he tries to pitch up in the strikes. I don't mean with curveballs, but most of his stuff. But when he is down, and this is about as good a curveball you're going to see from a lefty.
Changed the angle on it a little bit. He got a little bit more downward and a wave break on it and got Jay Gibbons.
Matos takes high, 1-0.
It is very difficult to pitch on an afternoon when you don't get great defensive play behind you, and also your team hadn't put any runs on the board and you're in the 6th inning. I can tell you how many games where you think, well, I'm not really pitching that poorly, but it doesn't look too good when you look at the scoreboard.
Yeah, you're down 4-0, and you know it just doesn't seem as though you've got enough offensive weapons to get back in the game.
Well, that may not be the case, but it's just, you know, this is a game of offense, especially in the American League with the DH. All you can do is look at our pitching staff, and you can run support such an important part of what the record's going to ultimately turn out to be.
And a strike.
Well, he stays right up there top of the strike zone. Kind of like Scotty McGregor used to pitch, right up there in the top of the strike zone that way. Not overpowering, but just high enough to get you to chase.
Count goes full.
The thing about Barry Zito, I mean, he's usually over the top, but he's 6'4". Real good size for a pitcher. Does he get over that front side? A little bit. You can see a pretty stiff leg, though.
Slicing foul down the right side, back in the opening day crowd.
Yeah, that's one of the things that if you are constantly up in the strike zone, remember Rick Dempsey and Elrod Hendricks, who's now in the Oriole bullpen, they would say, hey, cut your stride down a little bit.
Get
so
over
you can get over and throw it down the ball on a little bit more of a downward plane.
Strike 3 called. Matos thought he had worked ball 4. 2 men are out.
Well, you talk about changing the eye plane of a hitter. Up, 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 looking at high fastballs, and then Louis Matos gets surprised by a low strike. Native Youth calls it right at the bottom of the strike zone. Matos didn't think it was high enough. Zito has now struck out 3 in a row.
Bigby slices it to left. Towards the line comes Eric Burns. Foul ground now, stays with it and makes the catch. So Burns hauls it in, and all of a sudden Zito has retired 7 consecutive Orioles back-to-back 3-up, 3-down innings. We played 6 at Oriole Park. The Birds in control.
People from all over America come to a hospital in Maryland to leave dialysis behind. A hospital where caring surgeons and nurses have led the world's most successful live donor kidney transplant program to a remarkable success rate. A hospital where videoscopic surgery allows loved ones and friends to donate easily and walk out in just a day or 2. Who's leading the way to this new medical tomorrow? University of Maryland Medicine.
It looks like a black and white multifunctional. It prints like a black and white multifunctional. It costs the same as a black and white multifunctional. But it also prints in full color. Introducing the next big thing in document technology. Brought to you, of course, by Advanced Business Systems. We live and breathe this stuff.
Gotta have a good time, Chief.
Opening day at Camden Yards as the Orioles have a 4-0 lead. Let's take a look at our GM game summary, and it's been Rodrigo Lopez.
Well, he's just been outstanding, and good strikeout, good sliders, great command, and he will leave the game as Steve Klein will come on to pitch with a 4-0 lead. Chance to win for the first time in the 2005 season.
So Rodrigo Lopez allows 7 hits, scatters 7 hits, struck out 2, walked 1 batter. Key number will be following, especially early on, as the Oriole pitchers try to cut down on that. Markatse will lead off. And there are the numbers, guys, on Steve Klein from a year ago.
Now, that's a great pickup. You can see his opponent's batting average just over 200, and he worked in 67 games for the Cardinals. He had a finger problem in the postseason and wasn't eligible for the World Series simply because they didn't think he could pitch. But he is healthy now.
And there's a new catcher as well, Geronimo Gil. So Javi Lopez leaves the game after 6 innings. Rodrigo Lopez, he's done after 6. Past the mound, base hit. Rodrigo Lopez, we're told by Kevin Behan, 103 pitches on the afternoon.
Now this is a test now for the bullpen. They've been handed a 4-0 lead, and Lee Mazzilli, Ray Miller think the bullpen is one that can be very effective. And Steve Klein, he's not going to get rattled. He's a veteran that loves to go out there and compete. He'll look for a ground ball from Jason Kendall. These two know each other very well.
Yeah, 4 out of the first 5 batters that he would face, if he would face that many, are left-handed. So this is a game of matchups. And I don't think Steve Klein did last year. Lefties only hit 143 off him. Of course, Katse leads it off with a base hit right back up the middle. And it's not that Oakland has not had an opportunity. One thing, Rodrigo Lopez, he got in trouble and had about 5 or 6 key outs with runners in scoring position.
Right back to Klein, could be two. Tejada one, and can't make the return throw. The ball dipped on him as he got to it, and he held on.
Boy, Steve Klein got the ball he was looking for, but then made a bad throw to Tejada. Handcuffed him as he threw it down around the shoe tops. I mean, this is a tailor-made double play ball right back to the mound, exactly what Klein was looking for. But watch the throw. He makes a great pitch to Kendall, and he's already got his body turned in position for the throw, but then he throws a sinker to Tejada, who has to make sure he catches it for the force out. By the time he does that, they can't get the double play. Perfect position right there, but then he guides it and throws a sinker to Tejada, and all they can get is the lead runner.
He short arms it, just like giving him an extra out. Those are the ones you catch. Good throw and 2 outs on 1 pitch.
And Chavez now bats with the runner on. And the fastball's high, 1-0.
Now, how many hours do pitchers spend on that in spring training?
Every day. Well, he threw 2 sinkers, 1 to home plate and 1 to second. That's the way it turned out.
And there's the strike. Steve Klein had a remarkable year last year for the Cardinals with respect of his home versus road. Jim mentioned his ERA 1.79 overall. He did not allow a single earned run in a home game all year. Really unusual. 33 games at home, 34 on the road, and no earned runs at Busch Stadium.
That's like John Parrish. John Parrish was 6-0 here at Camden Yards last year. Not too good on the road.
And there's a strike, so the count full. So Steve Klein has not allowed an earned run in a home game in 2 years. And the streak continues. He just has a new home. Down by 4, runner at first. Let's see if Kendall goes on a 3-2 pitch. He does not. Blooped. This is trouble for Matos, and Luis runs it down. 2 men down. Oh, does he cover ground?
Looked like that ball was hit off the end of the bat. Didn't know if it was going to stay up long enough for Matos to run underneath it, but Klein got Chavez to hit it off the end of the bat, and Louis closed ground very quickly. Wind's been blowing. Very difficult day for all the defensive players, but Matos stays with it, makes an easy play out of it. Things would have gotten a little dicey if that had fallen in there.
2 men down, and here is another home run threat. Rubio Durazo. He singled his last at bat. And a strike.
Hey, this is where a veteran pitcher understands exactly where he sits in the ball game. They're up by 4 runs. He's not going to be trying to paint corners in this situation. You're going to be aggressive, and Ray Miller loves to have experienced guys come in games with the lead.
I think it's also the time of day, and if you've been around, and Steve Klein certainly has, you look at the shadows. You know, about an inning ago, Barry Zito was in the sun, the hitter was in the shade. Now the pitcher is in the shade, the hitter is in the sun. You can see the light stanchions, they're causing shadows. If you can throw strikes, I can't believe that hitters see the ball at this time of day as well as they'd like.
Now, it gives you a strobing effect. You've got a bright sun background and 2 different strips of shade. The ball comes through, and you know, it's never easy at this time of the day.
It's like Nolan Ryan time. Going 100 miles per hour at twilight.
This blocked by Geronimo Gil as Durazo wouldn't chase, so staying at first base is Kendall.
Well, it's interesting that Geronimo would come into the ball game in this situation. Javi Lopez 1 for 3 in his 3 at bats, and Hill comes into the game, and we're not privy to the fact of whether or not there was a minor injury or not, but it would make you believe that they're just going to get Geronimo in there for a little defensive action.
Ball 2. We got ahead, tried to get in the chase twice, and now we'll see what he does on 2-2. The Orioles were able to entice Steve Klein. He was one of the geographical pickups that Jim Beattie talked about in the offseason. One that favored the Birds. Center field for Matos. And he hauls it in for the out. So Klein has a scoreless inning, and the Athletics strand another. 10 men left on base by the Athletics. 7th inning stretch time at Oriole Park. The Birds with a 4-0 lead.
Looks like we've got a couple of lovebirds.
Fresh toasted subs are here, like the Chicken Bacon Ranch. Toasted hot inside and out. Subway. Eat fresh.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Cobalt Coupe and Sedan. With more standard horsepower than Civic or Corolla. And our 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. 2 great cars, starting at $14,190. Cobalt, the new commotion in the Chevy family. See your Baltimore area Chevy dealer today.
Oriole fans, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield believes in the future of our children. And because of their commitment to kids, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield is proud to sponsor K's for Kids with the Orioles and the American Cancer Society. For every strikeout thrown by an Orioles pitcher this season, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield will make a $25 donation to the American Cancer Society Healthy Kids program. Congratulations to Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield on the K's for Kids program.
Orioles baseball on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. Non-stop service to over 59 destinations all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. There you see the residue of the fireworks just shot off during the 7th inning stretch at Oriole Park. And the Terps head coach Gary Williams enjoying the game. So Governor Ehrlich here earlier. He was down on the field shaking hands before the game. And there's Gary Williams, the Maryland head coach, shaking hands with some of his fans in the stands.
Couldn't ask for a better day for baseball to kick off the summertime, and everybody's anxious. Opening day means the flowers are in bloom, trees are blooming. Orioles are back at Camden Yards, and everything is good.
Flowers are blooming and the bats are booming. That's what you'd like to hear.
What do you say we look around Oriole Park and try to find a Coca-Cola fan of the game? Certainly have a lot of choices. Let's see, there were the Clowns. There was the Baby. Let's see. The Sammy Sosa fans are the Coca-Cola real fans of the game. There they are. Jim Palmer's buddies. And the Bird Puppet. Daughter having a good time with daddy at the game. Tremendous atmosphere for a season opener here in Baltimore. Orioles do a wonderful job at the ceremony they plan. There's Cal Ripken at the game. Cal's a real fan of the game. Melvin Mora will bat second in this inning. And a new pitcher is on for the Athletics, guys, as Barry Zito goes 6.
Justin Dukeshire on to pitch here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Pitched in 53 games a year ago. Pitched very well. You can see his ERA just over 3 runs a ball game. The opponents didn't hit much against him. Originally signed by the Boston Red Sox, went to Texas for a while, made his major league debut in 2001 when he appeared in 2 games for the Texas Rangers.
If I remember right, I believe he made his Oriole debut against, or his major league debut against the Orioles. He was called up from AAA, where the Rangers needed a spot starter, and he pitched very well, and then after the game went right back. Now, it's my memory we're talking about. It could be wrong.
Well, that would have been 2001. Of course, he had it figured out at Sacramento a couple years ago, didn't he, Buck, when he went 14-2 as a starter?
Yep.
And then last year, strictly in relief.
July 25th, game 1 of a doubleheader against the Orioles. Very strong work, Mr. Hunter.
I can't remember a lot, but I'll remember that. I'm amazed at our partner here. Jim will tell us about a curveball he threw in 1966, second game of a doubleheader, and why he didn't get the call. Grounded towards the hole and a base hit. Brian Roberts has a base hit on opening day. Remember last year he went hitless for the first series.
0 for 15.
So Brian is on with a leadoff singles. The Orioles look to add to their lead.
Yeah, it's the contacts right there. Look at him find the hole. He serves it into left.
Shadows didn't bother him one bit.
No, not with those contact lenses on.
He's one of the best shadow hitters on this team. And he just proved it.
Yeah, the 5.5 hole from Tony Gwynn between third and short.
Melvin Mora now. Picture with a quick move. Melvin drove in a run his last at bat. One of the Orioles who stays in Baltimore all winter long. There's a lot in the community. You know, it's kind of nice when you go to the health club just to get a workout in. You bump into Melvin there, lifting weights up in Bel Air. He'll be moving into Falston soon. He thought by now things aren't going as well as he had liked. But, stays in Baltimore all year long and gets out there in the community. Does a good job. This could be 2. Scudero, Ellis, Hatterberg. 6-4-3 and 2-men are out.
Marco Scudero didn't start this game, but he came in defensively and initiates the double play. And Ken Maka kind of scratching his head if they decide to send Scudero out because he played so well last year.
Really did, especially against the Orioles.
Well, guys, the Orioles have the perfect way for you to enter claim clients and friends here at Select Games this season. The 9-game Select Suite package. Part of the package, you get the rights to an exclusive 14-person suite at Camden Yards for 9 games. Included in the price, all the catering, parking, and other amenities only available to 9-game suite buyers. So call an Orioles Select Suite representative at 410-547-6190. That's 410-547-6190. Evan Behan announcing the sellout crowd. What was it, Buck? 48,000?
Yeah, 48,000 plus. And also a message on the scoreboard about Javi Lopez, stiffness of the lower back, which is the reason he left the game.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to make a defensive change when you're only carrying 2 catchers, and that's why I was kind of hesitant to make any announcement. But obviously, Javi having back problems, and that's why Geronimo is in the game.
This one's popped to right. Another tough play for Swisher, battling the sun and the wind. And he hauls it in for the out. So Tejada is retired. The double play helps Dutcher get out of the inning, and Swisher hauls one in for the out. We'll head to the 8th at Oriole Park. The Birds protecting a 4-0 lead.
Now, when you stay at Ramada, you'll earn points towards the things you really want with the largest hotel rewards program ever. Trip Rewards. It gives you more rewards more often for more fun. Ramada. Sweet dreams.
Lindsay, will you go to opening day with me?
Yes.
Fever Pitch is the hit comedy of the season.
One, please.
Fever Pitch.
We look like morons, didn't we?
Yeah.
Rated PG-13. Now playing only in theaters.
Yeah. Who's ready to go, huh? Who's ready to play today? Who's on fire? All right, T-Dog, huh? T-Dog, the Big E, Big E. Get out there, huh? Big in today, T-Dog. What do you say, Eddie?
Available seating for 7. Mercury Mountaineer.
The world remembers Pope John Paul II. Stay tuned to WJZ Eyewitness News for complete coverage. The days of mourning, the funeral, choosing his successor. Baltimore's Cardinal Keeler will play a key role as history is made, and WJZ's Eyewitness News will be there. Vic Carter leads WJZ's complete coverage, direct from Vatican City, live from Rome, live from Maryland. as the world remembers the Pope. We'll bring it all to you on WJZ 13, Baltimore's news station.
University of Maryland Medicine is proud to announce that MBNA America will donate $1,000 to the R. Adams Cowley Shock Trauma Center every time an Orioles pitcher records a save this season.
Well, back here at Oriole Park, we've reached the 8th inning on opening day, and the Orioles are enjoying a 4-0 lead. Strong start for Rodrigo Lopez. Steve Klein pitched a scoreless 7th, and now the new setup man, guys, Jorge Julio, comes on in the 8th.
Yeah, didn't get as many innings, pitched in 6 spring training games, didn't pitch till March 20th. Ray Miller talking about early on would have liked to have been able to stretch him out a little bit, but because of shoulder tendonitis in the offseason and then a little problem with his forearm, didn't get the innings in. And it'll be interesting there is what he did as a closer last year, 22 out of 26. Much better pitcher on the road than he was here in Baltimore. Of course, you have one of the more disciplined guys who, down by 4 runs, is trying to get on any way he can, and Scott Hatterberg. He'll take on the base and ball if you give it to him.
Well, this is really going to be an interesting bullpen if Jorge Julio can grasp this role pitching in the 8th inning. And then B.J. Ryan can close in the 9th inning. I mean, they could really shorten up games dramatically if they could get these two guys to pitch in these roles.
Towards the gap, Matos got a good jump. The ball carries, and Luis runs it down. Again, a good, quick first step, and he got back on it 1 away.
It's been pretty impressive watching Luis Matos all spring long. He had a titanium rod inserted into his leg, and it's not affected him one bit. All along, he said, I can run well. I'm not concerned about it at all. And he gets a good beat on this drive off the bat of Scott Hatterberg. He was shaded a step or two into the left center side of center field and went all the way across the diamond to make that play just shy of the warning track.
2-run home run at the plate. Good day defensively, and here's Eric Burns. Slider for a strike, and it's 0-1.
He is the best center fielder that I've seen here in an Oriole uniform since Paul Blair. Yeah, since Paul Blair. And Al Bunbury played well, but he made himself into a good outfielder, where it looks like Luis Matos just has those natural instincts to go get the ball.
You know what, and you can't really teach that. He reads the ball off the bat very well, and he gets to a lot of balls easily.
Tom Trebelhorn is the Orioles' third base coach. At one time ran the farm system. He's been talking about Matos. This ball is cued foul since he was patrolling center field for Frederick. He said even as far back as then defensively he was ready.
You know, the Orioles have a golf tournament for charity a couple of years ago, and Paul Blair was playing, and I introduced Paul to Luis Matos, and I said, you know, Paul, he's the best I've seen since you. And I said, tell him how you've never hit the wall. And he said, I thought he was going to get this in-depth question. Paul said I'd turn around and look at where it was on the way to get the ball, and it made comment perfect sense.
Kind of ruined your story.
Yeah.
Popped up back of the plate just in front of us.
It's funny how you meet certain players, whether it's baseball or other sports. I met Kenny Perry after he has a certain driver, and I said, why do you use that driver? And he said, Jim, I won 3 golf tournaments with us last year on the PGA Tour. Good reason for me.
I'm not changing.
Yeah, right.
Boy, he just got a piece. He was badly fooled by that slider.
Well, that slider really gives another dimension. I think we saw from the at-bat with Hatterberg, even at 96, 7, 8 miles per hour. Occasionally, Jorge's fastball is pretty straight. Hatterberg hit it very hard, but that slider with good tilt, that one doesn't have it. It's kind of a hanger. It just gives you a pitch that he can strike people out and gives you another alternative. It slows the bats down a little bit.
And he got him. Another slider. Geronimo Gil smothered it and gets him at first for the second out.
What Ray Miller has done with Jorge Julio is given him a cutter this spring, and he feels like he can throw the cutter as hard as he wants to. And that way he won't guide the slider, and he still throws the slider about 86 miles an hour, but that was a truer slider there, a little more depth to it as it broke down and away to Eric Burns for the strikeout. But he now has 2 breaking pitches that he can throw, and the cutter has been a very effective addition.
Marco Scutaro batting for a second time since taking over for Bobby Crosby takes low. His teammates really love Marco Scutaro. You saw the quotes the final week of spring training as they were trying to determine the final roster, and to a man they all said, what else does the guy have to do? Jorge knocks it down and gets him. So the script being followed, 6 strong by Rodrigo Lopez, Steve Klein, Jorge Julio, each a scoreless inning. And a new pitcher will come on for the Athletics as we head to the bottom of the 8th. On opening day at Camden Yards, the Birds have a 4-0 lead.
Gotta have a good time, Chief.
For our anniversary, we took a Caribbean cruise, and one day I accidentally ate something with shellfish. I have an allergy and had to be rushed to the hospital. We called Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they assured us that I would be covered even though we were so far away from home. They even called the hospital to make sure that everything was taken care of. Thanks to Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, I got the care I needed when I needed it.
The benefits of blue.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Cobalt Coupe and Sedan with more standard horsepower than Civic or Corolla. And our 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. 2 great cars starting at $14,190. Cobalt, the new commotion in the Chevy family. See your Baltimore area Chevy dealer today.
Well, let's take a look at our game summary as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Cal Ripken meeting Sammy Sosa.
And Sammy Sosa making his Orioles debut, and it's a welcome sight for Orioles fans as Sosa takes his position in right field, very similar to what he did as a club, and here in his first at-bat singles, and then went 2 for 2 with a couple of singles to left field off Barry Zito. Good start to his Orioles career as the Orioles are up 4-0. Willie Matos with a 2-run home run started the scoring in the second inning. Rodrigo Lopez scattered 7 hits over 6 innings. Sammy's 2 singles. Melvin had an RBI double. 4 runs on 7 hits for the Orioles. No runs on 8 hits for Oakland. And the thing about the A's, they have been stymied. They have had base runners on all afternoon. Rodrigo Lopez did a good job pitching out of jams.
And then Sammy ran one down in the alley in the 6th inning off the bat of Nick Swisher. Like it might be extra base hit, but he was able to corral it.
Fan getting a photo of Sammy Sosa in his Oriole debut. Hey, sit down. I think he's taking a picture. New pitcher on, Kiko Calero. And there's a strike.
Yeah, it came over from St. Louis in the trade for Mark Mulder.
Calero started out in the Kansas City Royals organization as a starter and then spent parts of the last 2 seasons in St. Louis and pitched in 5 games in the championship series, working a total of 7 innings out of the Cardinal bullpen.
And a good eye by Sosa. We all admired in spring training the viciousness in which Sammy Sosa swings the bat. But we also learned that with 2 strikes, he becomes a different hitter. As he had very good patience there, not chasing that pitch that was designed to break out of the strike zone. Hit hard. Scutaro plays it nicely. A high throw, and there it goes into the crowd. Sosa scampers back to first base.
Yeah, that ball was smoked.
And Scudero knocked it down. It stayed right by his feet, and then when he picked it up, he didn't get a good grip on it, and it is smoked. It's a breaking ball. Sosa stays back on it, hits it hard right to the shortstop. Scudero knocks it down, but you can see the ball flies out of his hand. Airmails Scott Hatterberg at first base.
And Jim Henneman has said error on Scudero. So Sosa is on base, leading off in the 8th as the Orioles look for an insurance run. And here's Rafael Palmeiro trying to go the opposite way with the shift on, and he fouls it back.
Well, Rafael, there you see the shortstop way over here playing. That's the third baseman in the shortstop spot. There's the shortstop on the right side of second base. 3 infielders on the right side of the diamond.
And he tries to pitch him outside.
Well, you know, he had that great, when you talk about Rafael, he had the great September, hit 9 home runs, hit over 20 RBIs. And I said, what's your strategy going to be? Because it seemed like last year, Buck, he said, you know, I had the lowest batting average ever. I'm going to try to hit more balls to left field. And it just didn't work. It was off balance. And you're talking about one of the prettiest swings, most on-balance swings you've ever seen over the last, what, 15 years or so. And he said, this year, they pitched me away. I'm going to hammer the ball that way, and who cares about the shift?
Yeah, he's not going to try to guide it. That's the whole point of it. And he got a little bit away from that last year. It's so inviting to see so much open field on the left side of the diamond. But it's truly not his style of hitting.
Good breaking ball there.
Of course, this is a similar defense they put up against Ted Williams, and what he hit 342.
Yeah, he did all right.
Yeah, he did all right, didn't he?
He didn't try to bunt it down the third base line.
No, that's pretty inviting, isn't it? I mean, look, there's nobody there. Tom Trebelhorn, you think he's going to have to get some Listerine. You know, nobody's even on his side of the infield, the Oriole third base coach.
Opposite field, Burns in on it. Almost popped out.
Well, it is tough to see, and looking around, shadows and wind.
I saw Eric Burns a couple of weeks ago out in Arizona have a terrible day in the outfield on a similar day. The sky was high, the wind was blowing. Seemed like everybody in the Ranger lineup said, let's hit it to left field, see how Eric does. And it was just one of those innings where everything was hit to him. He missed a couple, had one go over his head, and at the end of the inning, he just put his hands on his knees as if to say, why me?
Geronimo Hill will now bat for a first time. As you look in from right field by the warehouse. You see the shadows now. The pitcher's mound is in the shadow, but then more sunshine, then more shadows, then more sunshine. As the sun sets beyond the third base grandstand, it begins to set. Get that extra hour now. That wasn't too much fun on Sunday morning, losing that hour, having to drive to Philadelphia. It was morning already? What? Chief had a very good spring. He had to win this job, and he did. Sal Fasano really gave him a run right to the end. Fasano was an excellent receiver, Buck, and versatile, could play first base as well.
Just like taking out a heavyweight champ, when you come in as a newcomer to an organization, you really have to outplay the incumbent. And Geronimo Hill is a good, solid defensive catcher. A little pop in his bat, maybe a little more pop than Sal Fasano. So I think that's what they factored in when they made the final decision.
And with the Orioles looking to reduce the workload of Javi Lopez, it won't be too surprising to see next time around Rodrigo Lopez goes to the mound. The Chief will probably be behind the plate.
Well, they connect really well. And of course, you know, you talk to Rick Dempsey, who works with the catchers, Oriole first base coach. He said Geronimo's work ethic's a little better than it was a couple of years ago. I think he understands that you're going to have to work a little harder if you're going to be a backup, even though from time to time, a couple of years ago, he had a chance to play regularly.
And he got him, did Calero with the slider. Strike three, so 2 men down. Well, let's look back, get the answer to our Aflac trivia question. Who are the 4 Orioles who had 100 RBI seasons? The 1996 playoff year, setting a club record. Cal Ripken, Brady Anderson, Rafael Palmeiro, Bobby Bonilla. Rafael Palmeiro still active, and there's number 8. Future Hall of Famer.
He's still active. He's just not playing baseball. Yeah. Boy, he's got a lot of things going with his Ripken baseball. He and Billy Ripken have an XM satellite radio baseball show every Saturday. And they are doing an awful lot of things. Said he's got 800,000 kids playing Ripken baseball.
Does he do the show when you get a day off?
No.
You're on there about 9 days a week, aren't
He
you?
has his own show.
Oh, his own show.
The Cal and Billy show.
Okay. Sitting in the first row right behind the Oriole dugout. Looks like Gibbons has worked the count to 2-0. Two and 1 as Gibbons tried to hit it out. And there's B.J. Ryan. It's not a closing situation, but on opening day you follow the script. Get the relievers into the game in their roles. Good eye, ball 3. And it has gone according to the script today so far. Strong, solid outing by Rodrigo Lopez. 2 scoreless innings so far by the pen. Steve Klein, Jorge Julio, both excellent today. And B.J. Ryan awaiting his turn for the 9th. This is going to be back in the crowd out of play left side. The Orioles have won their last 4 season openers and 7 of the past 9.
Well, they have a new saying on the wall that Lee Mazzilli put on there. You got to find a way. And of course, last year they could not find a way to beat Oakland, 0-7. So if they do end up winning today, as you turn the page to this new season, turning it on a positive note.
Here's the skipper. Appeared very relaxed in spring training. And it's low ball 4. Good eye by Gibbons. He has walked twice today. And Luis Matos got the Orioles on the board early as he comes up. Back in his first at-bat in the season in the bottom of the 2nd.
Great pitch to hit. It was a 1-2 curveball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So I'm sure Barry Zito, who really did not pitch as bad as maybe the scoreboard will reflect, it's the one pitch he wants back. Did not make or get that curveball where he wanted to, and Luis hammered it over the left center field fence. And I always felt if you're a starting pitcher like Rodrigo Lopez, somebody gives you 2 runs, figures you got to give up 3 to be trailing. So it's a big edge to have. Turned out to be a pitching duel for most of the game.
Got under this one. Kotsay has a play, and he'll haul it in for the out. So the Orioles get a couple on without a hit, and strand 2 as Matos skies out. Well, it looks like B.J. Ryan's getting set to come on to work the 9th. He is, as the Orioles 3 outs away from a win on opening day.
Hey. Whew. Yeah. You look relaxed for somebody in your condition.
It's because I have Aflac.
What do you mean?
Oh, when I'm hurt and miss work?
Aflac gives me cash to help pay bills. My health insurance doesn't. You mean like car payments?
Mm-hmm.
Electric bills? Mm-hmm. Or the rent?
Yep. Huh. Even food. Chinese is here.
Great. I love duck.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
The Mega Millions jackpot? Well, let's just say it's more bread than you can shake a stick at.
Get ready for more speed, more reliability, more power.
Get ready for Comcast high-speed internet. Right now, it's only $29.99 a month for 6 months. And you'll also receive 4 free Orioles tickets. America's #1 high-speed internet brings the action home. Want sports clips? Click the fan. Want music? Check out Rhapsody. Want the O's? Log on to Orioles.com. Call Comcast today and get high-speed internet for just $29.99 a month for 6 months. And 4 free Orioles tickets.
Now we go to the 9th inning at Oriole Park, and the Orioles have a 4-0 lead. B.J. Ryan comes on, guys, to close it out on opening day, even though it's not a save situation, but the Orioles got him up. He was ready, and you bring him in.
Well, just a dominating pitcher. Last year, 64 hits in those 87 innings over 76 games. Led the team in strikeouts. One is a reliever. Not a starting pitcher lead your team in strikeouts, and just dominated left-handed hitters the whole season. Only got 10 base hits.
Ball one inside. Swisher, a switch hitter, will bat right against B.J. Ryan. And there's a strike. Swisher 1 out of 3 on opening day.
Boy, there's a good slide at the bottom, just drops out of that thing.
Here's the, what would you call that?
That's relaxed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what good pitchers do. Ball on your fingertips.
That appeal, he went too far. Geronimo Hill will tag him. Jim Joyce says he went through. So Fisher's down on strikes, a 1 away here in the 9th.
Yeah, I think, Buck, the big difference that I've seen in seeing B.J. since he came up with the Orioles and after he was traded from Cincinnati is just the consistency with his windup, the angle of being 6'6", throwing downhill and getting on top of that slider.
B.J., I'll tell you, Mark Wiley, the previous pitching coach, did a lot to refine his delivery to a point where he can repeat that delivery. And when you do that, you're going to be in the strike zone more consistently.
Heath Ginter pinch hitting for Mark Ellis, and he takes a strike. Ginter was picked up in a trade with Milwaukee. Had a pretty good year for the Brewers last year. With 19 home runs.
Yeah, and he's got to sit around for 8 innings and then hit B.J. Ryan with that nasty slider.
Now you get the hit, go up and hit the big left-hander. You know, you talk to hitters around the league, and B.J. won't light up the radar guns. He won't throw at 94, 95 miles an hour. And you ask him, why is he so tough? He said there's so much late movement on his fastball. You can't detect the spin on his slider. Everything looks like a fastball, and you offer at it, and it either breaks underneath your bat or moves to the end of it.
And then other guys will say deception. You just don't pick the ball up very well.
And he fouls it off to stay alive.
He had kind of an interesting start to his spring. The first time out against the Washington Nationals, he got hit 5 runs, and after that, he didn't give up a thing. Kind of got his attention first time out.
And it was one of those outings where there were 2 blue pits within the inning. He actually made good pitches, and they found holes and fell in. Melvin Moore down to his knees. Nicely done by Palmeiro on the back end, and 2 men are down.
Melvin's banged his knee pretty good, and you could see now he is feeling the effects of it. And he's going to regroup for a little while. Watch how hard he hits his knees here as he dives for it, a very awkward dive, and then jams both knees into the ground. And when he pops to his feet to throw the runner out, then the pain hit him. And now the training staff.
Brian Ebel's out there.
He's going to check him out.
Skipper Lee Mazzilli joining in.
You know, you like to dive on these balls, but watch how awkwardly he hits on his knees as he reaches for it and then hits the hard ground with both kneecaps and bounces to his feet in time to make the play across the diamond. Generally, you'll see infielders slide, but you can see that ball came back to him and he had to drop down on his knees in a hurry. That didn't feel too good.
We're going to have to get Brooks Robinson out here to teach that dive to the left here.
Brooksy could do it very softly, couldn't he?
You see, the skipper changed his uniform number. He had worn number 13 last year and all through spring training, and he took number 12 and gave his number 13 back to Rodrigo Lopez, who gave it up to him last year when he came in.
Good move. Make your #1 starter happy.
Well, 2 down. Here's Katse. Fouls it back. Number 12 became available when Matt Riley was traded. And Rodrigo has his number back. One and one the count. We expected improved pitching. And you come out on opening day and you allow 0. It makes it easier for your hitters. The Orioles hitters managed 4 runs against a very, very good pitcher, Barry Zito. Ray Miller obviously likes what he has seen today. Fans are getting behind B.J. Ryan. A little high, 2-2.
Now, it's a pretty good sign when you score 4 runs. Miguel Tejada and Sammy Sosa, neither one of them drove in a run. So Louis Matos down in the 8th spot with the big blow, a 2-run shot to left.
Just did get a piece to stay alive.
We talked about the improved bullpen this year. Steve Klein gave up a base hit to the first batter he faced, Mark Kotze, and after that, they've retired everyone.
Lifted to left. Bigby towards the foul line is there, and he runs out of room. And there's your first instance with the brick wall.
Yeah. Well, you know, outfielders, they just talk, and they were talking around the batting cages that a lot of times you're going full speed trying to get into a position where you can catch a ball. Now, if the wall's padded like last year, you know that even if you bump it a little bit, but this is, I mean, it's sharp. It's kind of a weeping brick effect too.
Now back to Kotze, who began the game with a 10-pitch at bat leading off in the first against Rodrigo Lopez, is battling B.J. Ryan here, trying to keep the Athletics alive. Bounce to short. This should do it. Tejada plays the hop. And the Orioles have won on opening day. B.J. Ryan closes it out. Lee Mazzilli and the Birds win the season opener.
Well, the Orioles didn't win a game all year against Oakland, and they start off with the first win in the first ball game. Quite a different story. Sammy Sosa is part of a winning effort in his first game in an Oriole uniform. Special feeling, and you win opening day. Rodrigo Lopez gave them a good start. Some key hitting by Louis Matos, and an outstanding day for the bullpen as they allowed just 1 hit in 3 innings of work.
So the Orioles win on opening day, a final of 4-0. Timely hitting, terrific pitching, and exceptional work out of the bullpen. We're coming back to Oriole Park. Birds win it 4-0.
Look out, Waveland Avenue. Now Sammy Sosa has done it again.
And that was a line drive rocket out of the ballpark. The 17th of the season. And it's going to go in the batter's eye, a home run. You got to be kidding me. Into the stratosphere. Sosa's 3rd of the night.
From the celebrated best-selling novel, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
What is this thing? It's the guide. It's got everything you need to know to survive in the universe.
Nothing you've experienced can prepare you for hitchhiking across the galaxy. Don't leave Earth without The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Rated PG. Starts April 29th.
I've spent all my life around diamonds, but I don't know a thing about jewelry. That's why I put my trust in Marley Fine Jewelry. For over 30 years, Marley's had the reputation for fine designer jewelry. Now we have moved to a new, larger showroom. Our new store not only showcases Marley's unique and unusual designs, but also offers other fine jewelry and timepieces from around the world.
Enter to win a Mother's Day gold and diamond bracelet designed by Marley. Visit Marley Fine Jewelry in the festival at Woodhome or log on to marleyfinejewelry.com.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Cobalt Coupe and Sedan with more standard horsepower than Civic or Corolla. And our 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. 2 great cars, starting at $14,190. Cobalt, the new commotion in the Chevy family. See your Baltimore area Chevy dealer today.
Orioles baseball on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network has been brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. Non-stop service to over 59 destinations all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. By Mars Supermarket, the friendly food people and home of the First Pitch Sweepstakes. And by your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. Check out our new models at lincolnmercury.com. Well, nice shot of the Inner Harbor as the Orioles have closed out a win on opening day, winning it by a final of 4-0. And it was a tremendous effort by the Orioles pitching staff in particular today. And Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield is sponsored once again this year to sponsor K's for Kids. Today, Oriole pitching struck out 4 batters. And that means Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield will donate $100 to the American Cancer Society's Healthy Kids program. That season total now $100 as the Orioles 1 game in and 4 strikeouts on the afternoon. And back here in the booth, Jim Hunter with Jim Palmer and Buck Martinez. And Jim, you look at the effort by Rodrigo Lopez. We talked in the open about how the starting pitching simply had to give this team a chance. The bullpen, everybody knows how strong the bullpen can be. The hitting is going to be there, and Rodrigo Lopez did exactly that.
Well, he did. He took over from where he was last year. He was 4-0 in September, had a pretty good spring. The last against the Cardinals have a great offense, struggled a little bit, but he got his innings in, and when he needed big outs this afternoon, he was able to get them. And there's a strikeout of Fred Kendall. I mean, he's a contact hitter. Didn't strike out a lot of guys, but only walked 1. The early lead, makes you a little bit comfortable, especially when you're commanding all your pitches, which is what the case was. And then between letting his defense play behind him and getting just enough offense, he had an outstanding afternoon. He did exactly what you want from your starting pitcher, which is to put you in position to win. And I'll tell you what, if you could carbon copy this over, I don't mean the shutout, but just the fact, the way he went around his work, you'd be very happy, and I'm sure Ray Miller, the pitching coach for the Orioles, is.
Well, Sammy Sosa got a huge ovation from this crowd, Buck, in the opening ceremony today, and he came up and he delivered a big debut for the Orioles' new right fielder.
Yeah, it sure was. And Sammy Sosa got a chance to visit with Cal Ripken before the game, a couple of Hall of Famers to be sure, but Sosa's first day in an Oriole uniform was an exciting day. He got to take the field in his customary run to the outfield, filling in right field. First time he did that at home. And then delivers base hits in each of his first 2 at-bats. So he gets off to his Oriole career on a real positive note, made an outstanding catch in the outfield. And this is a very good pickup in my mind because Sammy Sosa has a lot to prove to baseball. You know, things kind of ended on a sour note for him in Chicago a year ago. He gets a fresh start back in the American League where he started. And it's an opportunity for him to say, you know what? I am not quite finished with baseball yet. He had 35 home runs last year in what is a Sammy Sosa off year. If he would do that again, it would be a tremendous addition to the lineup.
Well, so far so good, guys. I enjoyed it. Jim Palmer and Buck Martinez here on opening day as the Orioles get it started with a 4-0 win over the Oakland Athletics. Rodrigo Lopez gets the win, no save in the game, and Barry Zito, the ace of the Athletics, suffers the loss on opening day 2005. Lee Mazzilli and the Orioles get the win on opening day. For Jim and Buck and our entire crew, don't forget our next game on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network comes your way this weekend from Yankee Stadium. Even the clowns had fun at Oriole Park. So long, everybody.
Oh, look at the draw on that one. I think I'll try to hit a cut this time. Gary's hitting his new tailor-made driver.